welcome back everyone, welcome back to another week here, another edition of the Tenacious Tussle, week number 34. I'm of course VIP. With you, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chats, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all. It has been 2 weeks since our last Turtle Tussle. It is great to be back once again, of course, as we have returned with another season of Turtle Tussle action. Exclamation mark, be in the chat, have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we are jumping into our round of 16 match, into the first round. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Percival, we have the red Zerg player. It is Young Yakov. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the red Terran, we have the blue Terran player. It is Shelka. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Best of luck, Mikey. Best of luck. As we are jumping into our fresh best of 3. And again, we'll be going over the brackets soon, DM. Do not worry. We will get there when it comes to said brackets. Until then, we have our Zerg versus Terran matchup. We did it. We got 3 hours of sleep. We'll be fine, Bobby. We'll be fine. Of course, last night we were busy. We were live casting the playoffs of the SG Safe House number 2. We had some NA Snarcraft going on, which was a lot of fun, which is all good fun. But of course, it also lasted a long time. It was like a 5-hour cast, and it meant that we had very little time to sleep, very little time to rest, and well, let's go. 3 hours, that's all we need. That's all we need. But also a big shout out to Mark BT, as Mark BT is the main sponsor of this event. For those who remember, we did actually host a season, quote unquote, of Turtle Tussle last year after EWC. Same here. Now, post Esports World Cup, we are going to be hosting another season of the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. It is our way, of course, of running additional open cups here for the people for the more NA region as well. We have the Tuna Cup, which is a little bit more centered around a more European and Korean friendly time slot. Meanwhile, here we have the Turtle Tussle, which is a little bit more of a Korean/America's friendly time slot instead, as it is quite late in Europa. It is quite late. This is not a weekly, this is a bi-weekly tournament every fortnight. Every 2 weeks we do have the Turtle Tussle, at least so far 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row for this quote-unquote new season. And again, we have an interesting lineup of players here, despite the fact that this is more of an NA/Korean-friendly time slot tournament. So we'll have some very, very passionate European players going to be signing up as well. I believe it's around midnight, depending on where you are in Europe. So if you're out there, look after yourselves. Take care. Don't stay up too late. As you see, Young Yakov taking his third base. Third base is on the way. Again, so far, standard opener, hatch gas pull into a third. Link speed is in production, pulling out of gas. Nothing crazy. We're not going into a fast roach horn. Not going into fast tech of any kind. We are settling into a standard opener at least. And we'll see how that changes. We shall see. Likewise, you also do feature a custom map pool. Up until this point, true, we have been running purely TLMC 21 maps, so it feels a little bit weird to cast on Persephone again. But now that the voting has closed, the voting has concluded for the Team Liquid map contest, now we are taking a step back and going for a custom map pool instead. Because of that, we do have our regular map pool. We have some regular ladder maps alongside some custom maps, some custom TLMC 21 maps as well. So we've replaced 4 old maps and replaced them with 4 new maps. So we've gotten rid of Ultra Love, we've gotten rid of Ley Lines, we've gotten rid of Last Fantasy, and finally I think we got rid of, was it Torches? No, was it Pylon? Hold on, to double check the last one. No Torches, no Pylon. Incorporeal? Nope. Alright, Magnatha, that's it. Magnatha was the final map that we did replace. So again, we replaced 4 old maps and replaced them with 4 new ones. That's been our approach. Which means we can actually provide OSC points. True. As we have our early Bailey nest here, going for a later lair. So a very safe build here by young Yakov. It is typically more standard to go for the earlier lair timing to get your faster upgrades, get your faster attack. But here we're playing a little bit safe. Hellions, they attempt to go for the dive. Leave your position. So far they deny the Hellion dive. Queens do rotate in time, and young Yakov does hold. Does defend. Hellions are deflected. Banshee towards the bases. Behind this, going to Stim, going to Bio, third TC after the starport. Very aggressive build here from Chovka. Very aggressive. Going for a very delayed third, which means damage has to be done here. Queen will respond. Queen does respond. Chovka has to pull away. That's a Jesus. That's a lot of. Speaking of aggressive build, 10 Hellions. That's a lot of Hellions, and Chovka, whether he likes it or not, he's gonna have to commit into a mineral line. He'll have to commit here. So he does have to threaten that dive. Bailings are morphing in. Behind this is getting into Bio, but again, delayed Raxes, delayed eBays. Yeah, he's going for it. There are Bailings ready. Queens are keeping up. Clutch and Fuse. Okay, Clutch and Fuse coming for the surround. Oh no! Oh my god. Whew. Barely does not. Hellions they kite back in time. But the Queens are holding. Yeah, the Queens hold, the Queens defend. And Chovka is falling behind here again. Chovka, his third base was later than normal because he committed so heavily here into the Banshees and into the Hellions. And so far, it has not been worth it. So far, it has not been worth it. Behind this, young Yakov getting to his double double Evos, double upgrades. Building up more Ling Bane. And settling into a 3-base, soon to be 4-base economy. Diving on the Queen. Threading that dive. Once again, the Yakov he is holding, is defending. Upgrades are on the way. From here we can get into Bailing Speed. Oh, sorry, Bailing Speed is already done. Already complete. And now defending this third base is going to be difficult. Again, it's a late third, so the setup is delayed as well. There's going to be one tank behind this, thankfully. Yakov, he does want that third base. Mainly rolling in. Ooh. Nice Sim City. Denies the Ling Bane. Yakov just going to be rallying into the mineral line. Shouldn't get much done here. Yeah, a bit of a waste. Throws away those Bailings. Leader defense here out of Chovka. And Yakov is backing off. He backs off. We have Infestation Bit on the way. That's going to be for Hive Tech. It looks like Ling Bane into Ultra so far. As there is no Spire, there is no Hydrogen, no Roaches. So we're leading towards Ultras. Likewise, this can also lead into Safety Infestors first, just to be safe, just to be secure. Ooh, never mind. We have the answer when it comes to that tech. We are indeed going into Hydras. A little bit delayed when it comes to the tech of choice. As we get the Hydrogen alongside the Hive. But it's coming. It's on the way. Oh, slow Joe in the chat. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. Say rush forward. At least attempt to. From here, we're not going for a 3-way solo, we're not going for an ARAX. There's a 4CC on the way, so Chovka, he's building further up into a longer game state. Once again, wasting some Bailings here is young Yakov, and here comes the first push. But again, it's a little bit delayed here. We're moving out at 9 minutes. As the army moves out, Lings, they move in. There's not much to defend. And SCVs are going to be going down. Chovka, he commits across the map. SCV's going to be falling. Production is deterred. And dives on the bite. Tanks relate to siege. Yeah, brutal moment here. Losing 1, 2, 3, losing all 4 tanks, losing the entire army here. Yeah, caught on siege, caught deep on creep as well. And Choco loses the entire army at the same time. 9 SUVs going down across map. Bunker falls. And Jovka has been broken. He has been broken. Just a really unfortunate move out. To go that far onto creep, to have that late of a siege. Brutal moment. And now young Yakov can max. Now he can max out. His hive is complete. He can mix in some Vipers. Building up his Ling Bane. He's on 85 workers. That's what it came down to. It came down to that one big push. And even before then, he had a bit of a rockier start. And Yakov looking comfortable. Looking very comfortable. And again, there's not really much to support the tanks. We got 3 tanks in the bases. Bailey's they roll in, all 3 tanks go down. And Jovka just cannot maintain this position, cannot maintain this economy. There'll be 22 ACV kills, Jovka pushing through the center. Last Yakov is keeping up. Oof. And the army's overstimmed. Oh, and before we make it back home, brutal pickup. Don't like this, man. We don't like this. As Yakov collapses on the army. Again, we have tanks, but not much support for them. As 2 more tanks go down. Oh, that's a kill on the CC. Here, young Yakov snibbling at control. Once again, still an overstimmed army. Don't like this. And this is going to be his final stand. His final stand. GG gets called, and young Yakov takes the lead in the series. Takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG well played, does take a lead here. Again, young Yakov is coming in as the more favored player, but of course a shout out to Jovka. Did have a very committed start. If you remember, he did commit into a later CC into 10 Hellions into those benches as well, but the moment that he failed to do economic damage there, he did fall behind, as he delayed his own economy in favor of that aggression. So it was a really shaky start, and of course the follow-up there was that 9-minute move out, with 4 tanks deep on creep for him to lose that army and to lose his economy. I mean, that was game. That was game then and there. GG. GG well played with that. Young Yakov takes the lead in the series, and now we're getting into game number 2. Jumping to game 2. Game 2 is going to be on Incorporeal. So far we're going to be incorporating the older maps. Makes sense for them to be playing on maps they're a little bit more familiar with. Here we go. So we're loading into a larger map in the map pool. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself. It is young Yakov. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the blue Terran player. It is Jovka. Settling into Incorporeal, and again the pressure is going to be on our Terran player here, currently down in the series, and we'll see if he does mix it up. We shall see. Again, last game we did go for a delayed third base into a more aggressive start, but here in Incorporeal the rush distance by ground is longer. I will say that the bases are more defendable as well, unlike on Persephone. Here the natural and the main and the third base are all on elevated high ground, so it is more difficult here to push up these ramps, to go undetected, and to break through into these bases. So much more secure 3-base setup. The 4th base is more exposed, but that's typically that typically does apply a little bit in a later game state, so your initial 3 bases are a little bit safer. So we'll see how our Terran player does adjust. We'll see how he does adjust here. So far, hatch, gas, pull, standard opener out of young Yakov. He is also one to mix in roach-based play and roach-based builds as well, so he could be more assertive himself. We'll see. We shall see. After this series, we'll be going over the bracket itself. We'll be catching up, figuring out where we are and where we are headed. We'll get there. We'll get there. Ooh, speaking of diverse builds, we do have a very fast second racks. Second racks is on the way. So from here, curious, we could go for a 3 racks follow-up here, even a 4 racks. So we'll see if we throw down additional racks behind this. Otherwise, this could be the setup for a 2-1-1. Show us what you got. SCV's on patrol. We'll wait to see if we can throw down the factory or a 3rd racks. And the answer is a factory. Okay, so 2-1-1. So 2-1-1 build here out of our Terran player. With this is going to be an earlier stim timing. So we have reacted Marines into Tech Lab into early stim. The purpose of the factory should just be to make a a starport into medevac production. Into that early stim timing. This build is a little bit old school. There's some pros, there's some cons. The biggest downside of this build is you have no reacted Hellions, right? You have no Hellion production because you're using the factory just to make add-ons and just to get into the starport instead. So without Hellion production, that means you have no map presence. That means you have nothing to deny creep spread and to threaten the mineral lines, right? You have nothing to threaten. So lack of Hellions is a bit of an issue. Reaper overextends, brutal pickoff, no map presence whatsoever, and we're going for an all-in. We're flooding into 16 Lings. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Yakovi joins up and he cuts workers here at 28. Lings are amassing, Lings are flooding, and it's going to be a tough hold without a bunker. We do need that bunker here to defend. Yakov does join behind this, but here come the Zerglings. I'm sure he does notice there are no Hellions. And as we mentioned, without a bunker, these Marines are so exposed. Did we cut back? Boys are being pulled. Yeah, boys are pulled. Lings, they head in between the bases. They head into the main. Catching out some production. And they get a full scout. They confirm the full scout. They confirm the 2-1-1. Dusty stim on the way. And doesn't kill too much. Has gotten 1 SCV, a handful of Marines. So this is an expensive scout here from young Yakov. Does not a lot of mining though. It's a lot of denied mining time. As Lings, they circle back around, they're gonna get cornered. Jovka will clean this up. And there's a bit of a give and take here. On the one hand, Jovka, he kills a lot of Lings. That's 20 Zerglings here. Better trade for the Terran player. But mining was denied, and he also got full scouted. So back at home, young Yakov, he's preparing. We should be seeing, yep, 1 Eva Chamber. 1 Eva Chamber into +1 carapace. Queens are amassing. We are joining up at least up until a certain point. Then we need purely Ling production. Lings and Queens. Nice time for the Overlord. Young Yakov, he's supply blocked. +1 carapace is in production. All the Queens are coming together. We have 6 Queens in total. Queens are brought forward, 20 Lings on the way, and Yankovic should have enough to defend. Should have enough here. Bearing in mind that, once again, the 3rd CC is heavily delayed in favor of this push, in favor of this timing. He has arrived. Army is spotted. Behind this we have the lair. We have the Bailey nest. Queens will approach, coming for this around. As goes the mine shot. Ooh, nice control. Yeah, base at the mine shot. One of the medevacs go down as well. Ay, ay, ay. Medevac does fall, and with that Chovka, he gets shut down. And now he's falling behind here. Now again, late 3rd TC, stuck on a 2-base economy. Yakov can now freely join up to full 3-base saturation and get a 4th. Another reinforcing drop. It's spotted. And Yakov is aware. He has time to regroup. Building up his Ling Bane. More Queens moving in. We got 7 Queens. Got plenty of Queens. Lings are coming first around. Once again, they force the pickup. And at this point, Yakov is getting comfortable. He's going to be able to join up a little bit further here, now going into Hydras. That is a second tank on the way for Chovka. Let's go. Getting a second tank, getting his third base. But unfortunately, he needed more damage than this. He needs to reset the queen count to deal some economic damage. Unfortunately, as you mentioned, he got fully scouted, so Yakov was ready in time. Chovka pulls away. And Yakov should be the first to max out. Mir should be the first to max. I'm not saying that Chovka doesn't have a chance here to recover. There are ways, of course, especially with drop play, right? He can be active, he can deny creep, he can catch queens, get into mineral lines. There's potential for damage, but Chovka needs to be active is the issue here. And for now, he's stuck at home. Yo, shout out to the turtle. Here we say rolling, they get into the middle line, 9 SCV kills, and 9 workers going down. Double job, ooh, doesn't quite get onto the creep. And Yakovi preserves his queens. Maintains that creep. I didn't even notice he has bar. Cheeky moves. Oh, does he notice? No, no! Oh my god. Yeah, does notice. Brutal connections. Yakov, calm down, baby, calm down. He's enjoying himself. As we mentioned before, he's about to max. Now at 186 supply. And it is going to be a difficult hold here for Chovka. More Bailey set up. Moving in. Moving over the CC. Blackbats gets into the first tank as well. Bailey's a crash in. That's gonna be 1-2. That's gonna be 3 tanks going down. My army's turned away, and down goes the CC. That's a kill. That's a kill in the command center. That's all the young Yakov needed, and he's still going to keep going. SR stepping in, getting another couple of tanks. And there's no support. There's no support for the tanks. CG gets called, and young Yakov, he will take the series 3-2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Young Yakov, he will claim the series. Shout out to Chovka for showcasing some different builds. I do appreciate that we saw something more committed in game 1 and going to more committed Hellion play. Here in game 2, going for attempted hidden 2-on-1. Unfortunately, did get scattered immediately, and Young Yakov, he reacted and responded quite well to it, building up his queens, getting his lings ready, and of course engaging ahead of time as well, cutting workers when he needed to. GG. GG, well played. Impressive play there by young Yakov. And with that, that can take us, so we can head on over here to the main bracket to catch up on what has been going on. Let's go. Let us go. GG, well played. As we do have some updates here. Okay, from the top, we do have ByuN. ByuN, he's waiting here in the second round, waiting in the quarterfinals for the winner of Replicants and Green Earth. Honestly, I was very tempted to jump onto Replicant versus Green Earth. That's a really nice EU versus NA series, really nice matchup. I was very tempted, but at the same time, I didn't want to miss out on this. Nickrat takes down Coral Viper 2-0, and up next we have Nickrat versus young Yakov in a TVZ. In my mind, at least, I mean, typically we try to follow Zerg players while we can. Young Yakov, he's the only notable, sorry, my apologies, he's the second notable Zerg player. We got Mixu as well. I feel spoiled for choice. Yakov, he's facing up against Nickrat in the second round. Meanwhile, Percival takes down Ragnar 2-0. Percival waiting for the winner of Mute and Triple. That's a PvP between the Peruvian Protoss and the South Korean Protoss player himself. So going down, we have Shameless. Shameless takes down Sophisticate. Mixu takes down Spartacus. 2-0, loving the name. And we have Mixu versus Shameless in the next round as well. Honestly, really high profile matchup. Best of luck to both Mixu and Shameless as they are facing off, as they are mid-series. Best of luck. But of course, we are focusing on Nikrat and Young Yakov. But again, I feel like a little bit spoiled for choice. I don't think there was necessarily a wrong series to get into leading into the quarterfinals. Best of luck. Best of luck to all the players involved. As for now, we are going to be setting up. Vitas are underway, and we are getting ready for Yakov and Nikrat. Here we go. Alright, getting ready. At least for the time being, we're gonna be going on a short never mind. I was gonna be going for a short break, but alas, looks like we do have our players ready, so we're gonna be jumping into game number 1. Vita's done. Game 1 is gonna be on Persephone once again. Let's go. Loading into Persephone here. But again, for the most part, the first round is wrapping up. Yeah, wrapping up with the first round. I can confirm that Shameless and Mixu are still mid-series. And again, of course, the series leads into the upper semis. Both semifinals are going to be casted. Bear that in mind. They're going to be both on stream. So we're going to be following this into the winner of ByuN, Replicant, and Greenerts. Assuming that they are ready in time. We'll see. So here we go. We're loading into game number 1. And I always do appreciate the European representation in tournaments like this, just because I know it's very, very late in Europe. The D-Gens back, they're out. Here they are out and spawning. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have our red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nikrat. Nico. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player, with the blue Zerg player himself. It is Young Yakov. Here we go. Whew. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as this is going to be a much closer ZVT. In the first round, again, typically the first round series is a little bit more one-sided just because of how seeding works, but coming into round 2, we have 2 heavy hitters, Nikrat and Young Yakov. They're both very strong players in their own right. They're in the upper echelons of the European region, the European scene, especially in regards to their respective races over in Europe, and we'll see who will advance on to those semis. This can go either way, to be honest. This can go either way. I know that Nikrat has been looking very strong as of late, especially in the TVP matchup against Protoss, and even against Terran. I would say that he has been looking very powerful. I would say the TVZ is maybe a weaker matchup here for Nikrat, but just because it's a weaker matchup doesn't mean he's bad at it at all. He still will pose a big threat. He's typically hyper aggressive. One of the bigger accolades that Nikrat had recently, if you remember, was he took down Shin. Shin versus Nikrat was a crazy series, and Nikrat did bring him down. That was a couple of weeks ago at this point in Sparkling Tunica. So we'll see if Nikrat can replicate that success. Now, to be fair, that was also Shin trying to have fun with the latest patch and trying to rush into muta play and failing to get into mutas. Meanwhile, Young Yakov, I doubt we'll be seeing any mutas from him, as mutas are a very risky way to play. And Nikrat is typically a very aggressive player. Typically very aggressive. So opening up. Likewise, know that Young Yakov has been on a lot of people's radar, especially this year, coming into 2025. I would say that Young Yakov, for the most part, has overtaken Wayne. Wayne was like top 5, top 4 Zerg player in Europe. And Young Yakov was typically in Wayne's shadow, at least historically. But in recent months, in this most recent year, I would say has overtaken. It also doesn't help that Wayne has been less active, right? He has been less active, he's been more rusty, and has been looking a lot more rough around the edges as a result. For now, third CC. Third CC before starport. Economic build here by Nickrat. This is very standard. I say standard, we didn't really see this at all last series in the previous ZVT. But here, getting to a faster third base. Into a 1-1-1. We are building up. Yakov, ooh, big investment going into 16 wings. This is designed to try to get some damage done with the natural mineral line. It's a big investment. Reapers deflected. Lings, they move out on the right hand side. Fan out across the map. And Nickrat, he barely didn't quite take notice. He's building up his Hellions. He's reinforcing. Hellions move out. Lings are moving in. Ooh. Yeah, so Nickrat, he's out of position. Back at home, the mineral line is exposed. It was a risky move here by Yakov, but it is worth it. Yeah, heads into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. Hellions get called out. And Nickrat, he races back home. He turns back around, he races back home. SCVs are falling. Gonna be 5+ SCV kills, getting the mule as well. Brutal damage. 8, 9, 10, 11 SCVs. Nickrat's economy is crippled, and again, he was out of position. He missed the Ling move out. He gets punished for being active. Hellion goes down. And this is too much. This is just critical damage here early on. Ay. Yeah, 13 SCVs. Gets a Hellion. Does what? 3 Hellions going down. 14 SCVs in total. The Reaper as well. And Yakov coming out ahead. He does come out ahead. You can see Yakov, he has a very comfortable worker lead. 48 drones. Now, the downside of what just happened, of course, is late drones, late saturation, late tech as well. It's going to be a later layer timing. As we hit the 5-minute mark. Gas income was delayed. That's why we get a second gas geyser to catch up. Layer production has begun. So late layer, late tech. But has the boosted economy to compensate. As Nickrat tries to break in. Banshees are moving out. There's a lot of pressure here on Nickrat to get some damage done here with these Banshees. So he moves out with the Banshees. Third CC, it cannot be taken yet as he's still not fully saturated. But he's getting there. He's recovering. Banshees, they do hit the fourth. And it looks like they can force a cancel. It's a lot of damage being done. We spoke earlier how, like, you know, we're probably not going to see mutas out of young Yakov. He's going mutas, but he's also getting to mutas from elite. Ooh, it says cancellation. It's a nice cancel on the 4th base. Nice damage here by Nickrat. This is kind of his first step on the road to recovery. But we got a lot of steps to take. We got. It's a nice start, but and Banshees are going to be cornered. Okay, they do break out. Flush transfuse. And trades out a queen for a Banshee. The second Banshee goes down. Brutal loss there for Nickrat. Denying the base was solid, but losing both Banshees for it now less so. Not quite worth it. Doesn't get a full scout. So checking the vision here, Nickrat, he did not get eyes on the Spire. And the mutas are coming. Spire is now done. There we go, 9 mutas are on the way. Nickrat is being active. Let's move out. Yakov is in position. Does keep up. Spore moving in as well. The mutas are about to reveal themselves. Again, remember, Nickrat, he has no idea. No idea until now. The mutas are revealed. Gets 1, gets 2 medevacs. Nice control of the young Yakov, doesn't lose any meters. And Nickrat, he's stuck at home, he throws down a ring of turrets. Touch on the way. Turrets for production, Lee Vane does rally in. Bailey say, no, they get into the middle line, massive connections. Ooh, takes down 14 SVG, she gets called, and young Yakov takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A really rough start for Nickrat, winding it back. Remember, he lost, was it 14 SCVs? Yeah, 13 to 14 SCVs went down at the very beginning of the game to the Ling run-by, to Ling counter-stack. That was just a brutal start. As a reminder, Nickrat, he did barely miss the move out. His Reaper did barely miss the Zerglings. Because of that, he rallied his Hellions across the map. He was out of position. Nickrat, he was out of position. He bled out far, far too much, and with that, he was playing from behind. He was playing from behind. He was trying to play catch up. He was able to deny the 4th base, which was nice, but again, he still lost the Banshee, so it wasn't worth it anyway. GG. GG, well played. With that, young Yakov takes the first game, and now we're loading into game number 2. Ooh, and we will be featuring one of the TLMC21 maps here for the first time in today's broadcast. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to be loading into Celestial Enclave. This was our replacement for Maganatha. So replacing a large map with a large map. We go. And we might see one of the more extremes here. Again, we went for one of the more standard maps into the, I believe, now new largest map in the map pool. I'm pretty sure this is bigger than Tokamak. Would have to double check. Well, let's go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Celestial Enclave, we have the Red Terran for the Platinum Heroes down in the series, but we'll see if we can bounce back on this larger map. It is Nickrat. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player leading the series 1-0. It is young Yakov. And welcome one all to Celestial Enclave. This is a very large map, the map pool known for longer games, and is also one of the TLMC21 maps as well. And what do we feature? First things first, we have a pocket base, we have a pocket expansion, but there are reduced minerals and there's only one gas geyser, so not the most valuable base. Typically you want to be taking this base as a 3rd, 4th, or 5th expansion. I'll lean towards a 4th base at least. So you want to take this a little bit later here. There's a mineral wall leading into the triangular 3rd. Meanwhile, we have our natural on the high ground. So a really secure natural base does have the high ground to take advantage of. There is an entrance here. There are rocks that you can knock down to gain access to the triangular 3rd, which you should be taking as your 3rd expansion before taking your 4th base as the pocket. Now, the 5th base is more difficult to take. So you have your relatively secure 4-base setup here. The 5th base is further out, whether it's top left, whether it's center left, whether it's this center high yield base as well. There are options for your expansions. You can expand on the right hand side as well. Typically the Terran player wants to be expanding towards your opponent, the Zerg player wants to be ideally expanding. I mean, they have options if they want to expand away or not, depending on how they want to spread that creep. But in general, Nickrat, he'll have the option to even take the low ground gold as his own 4th if we get there, 4th or 5th. But again, your early 4 bases should be relatively secure. With this worker wall, I should mention this is a worker mineral wall. Basically, Ling's attacking units cannot actually walk through this, only workers can. So probes, drones, and SCVs. This does allow for really easier scouting. True, you can scout directly into your opponent's bases from here. Likewise, though, it also means that if this triangular 3rd base gets harassed, you can pull the workers away through that mineral wall into safety. So they can successfully get away from ground-based units. Meanwhile, longer rush distance by ground to have that high ground. As Yakov, he is going for that linear 3rd base. Okay. I mean, he has to, right? Unless he took the pocket base, of course. So it does go for the linear third. It does expand away from his opponent. And they back home going for a 1-1-1. Okay, you had my attention. Despite the fact that this is a larger map of the map pool, I was expecting a third TC like last game, but no. Faster starport, delayed TC, and we are going into BCs. This looks like BC into mech. Hyper aggressive build here by Nickrat. Overlord Scout is attempted, but Marines are in position, and Marines will deny the scouts. The Overlord will get eyes on the tech lab at least, but he sees a tech lab being built, not being add-on swapped. This does look like battle cruiser. So typically, if this was a Banshee-based opener, then you'd go for a tech lab on the racks and then go for an add-on swap for faster Banshee production. To go for your fusion core, the reason why you want to delay is because, I mean, you have to wait for the fusion core to finish anyway, so there's no reason to rush into said Banshee play. There's no reason to add-on swap. So Yakov, he has an idea. He has a piece of the puzzle. Back at home, going for the safety Roach Warren. Roach Warren's on the way. Layers being taken. It feels like Yakov is aware. Roaches are going to be more ideal against mech. And again, BC does typically lead into mech. Hellions, they attempt to dive. So far, Queens are keeping up. Roaches are amassing. More Queens, more Roaches. No spores yet. Ooh, we're going double starport? Oh, okay. I assumed this was going to be BC into mech. It's going to be, I mean, it still may be BC into mech, but we're going into double starport, double BC production, going mass battle cruiser. Okay. Este Nickrat. Show us what you got. They clear some of the creep. BC teleports in. He's going for the Queens. It does have on the Queens. No Hellbats. One Queen goes down. Does miss a transfuse. Second Queen falls. But it looks like, yeah, there are too many Roaches. Yeah, the Roaches, they do hold their own. If this was Link Queen, then maybe Nickrat would have broken through. But the scouting was so important, so crucial to allow for these Roaches. And Yakov holds. Yakov, he does hold on. He'll lose one more Queen, just barely. The Queen goes down, Spire is on the way, and checking the vision here, we do have the Overseer Scout, does confirm the second starport. So again, 2 port, 2 BC production. Hellions, they do get into the middle line, nicely done, drones are lining up. Getting 8, 9 drone kills. Oh my god. 10 drones go down, not bad. So Nickrat, he gets 10 drones, he takes down 4 Queens. Now, the one downside here for Nickrat, remember, he's playing 2 base. He's playing 2 bases. His third base is late. So late third. Now, thankfully, he did save the BC. The Battlecruiser was saved. It did make it back home. We have more BCs at building up. Likewise, Young Yakov getting to his anti-air, getting to his corruptors. And soon, Nickrat can get into his battle mech. His factories are still coming online. Still getting there. As Yakov, he's going for the pocket base. Roaches, they deflect. You have 3 BCs headed towards the pocket. Thankfully, they are spotted ahead of time. He has to be careful. Looks like he wants to intercept those Roaches. And Roaches, they do counterattack. Nickrat, he does miss the Roaches. They get across the map. SCVs are going down. Brutal damage here for Nickrat. Hellions are the best units here for Roaches. The boys are being pulled so much damage. Yeah, 13 SCV kills. Again, the BCs did miss that interception. 13 SCVs. And we have to make this worth it. We have to make it worth it here. As BCs are making their way into the third. Corruptors are across the map. Now we're just rallying roaches. Oof, we're just rallying roaches here. And Nickrat, he doesn't really have much to defend. Hellions, they can't hold their own like this. They need the BCs, and now they teleport. Now they teleport back home. But this is so late. It just wasn't worth it. Nickrat, he was hoping that, okay, like, I'm going to defend with bare minimum. I'm going to deal economic damage across the map. But it wasn't worth it. And with that, BCs are falling. They just used their teleport. They cannot teleport away. And down go all the BCs. Losing all three. Again, I'm sure Nickrat, he was also hoping there was a fourth, right? I'm sure he was hoping there was a fourth base in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. I'm sure he was hoping he could at least deny an expansion, but it just didn't quite pan out. GG gets called, and Young Yakov, he will take the series 2-0. He will advance on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Young Yakov, just claiming the series. Shout out to Nickrat for having a very unique build, of course, going double starport mass BC play, a crazy build here. And again, he didn't have the worst start, especially after killing all the drones, especially after killing 4 queens. It was okay damage. Unfortunately, the follow-up, it was brutal here. He happened to move out as roaches were counterattacking, and he bled out so many SCVs, so many Hellions, and his BC move out wasn't quite worth it, referring specifically to the second BC move out. GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations here to Young Yakov, as it was claiming the series does advance on, and let's catch up on the bracket. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed. Bam, let's go. Let us go. As from the top here, ByuN is still waiting for his opponent. Now, Replicant versus Green Earth, that is a TBT, so that has potential to be a very long series. No. Has potential to be a bit of a longer one there, so best of luck to both Green Earth and Replicant as they are facing off, and they are currently mid-series, I believe. Hopefully that is still the case. ByuN, of course, waiting for the winner of that series. Young Yakov waiting for the winner of ByuN, Replicant, and Green Earth. So Young Yakov, he has a lot of downtime. Meanwhile, we have Shameless versus Mixu. They are still mid-series. They're 4 minutes into their game. They're at least in game 2. Maybe even game 3, so best of luck. Winner will advance on to the semis, and we have Mute. Mute is up against Percival. They are also mid-series. Mute, of course, being the best Protoss player in all of Latino America, being the Peruvian Protoss, up against Percival in that second round. Percival is still favored. Percival and ByuN, they're the top 2-seeded players of the tournament, scheduled or fated to face off in the finals. We'll see if anyone can stop them. We shall see. But for the time being, players are still mid-series. Oh, I say mid-series. Looks like we might not have had some results being reported. I say that. Looks like ByuN is actually in-game. ByuN is in-game, so it looks like Replicant and Green Earth actually did wrap up their series. We will have to find out what the score was there, as it looks like ByuN is playing against the winner of that. Potentially. Okay. So the tournament is progressing. Well, we're getting there. We are getting there. For now, we are going to be having a bit of downtime here. We're going to be waiting for... Most likely, I'm going to be waiting for ByuN series to wrap up. Most likely. God damn it. Este Yakov. But GG, well played. And for now, we have a little bit of downtime. As a reminder, both semifinals are going to be casted. Whichever one is available first, we'll be jumping into. Whichever one. Again, for now, we're going to be parked on the America server, waiting for either ByuN series to wrap up or Percival series to wrap up as well. So we do have some downtime. Also, right, sorry, it happened during the game. My apologies, but a big shout out to Juggernaut Jason. God, my God, thank you so much for the raid happening during the tail end of that game. Thank you so much. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time, and welcome, bienvenidos to the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. This is a bi-weekly. This is a fortnightly tournament every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks we do host this open cup, and it is a little bit more at a friendly NA time slot. So it is available. So hey, maybe one day Jason can play. True. Let's go. GG, well played. So thank you so much, Jason, for the raid. I do apologize for not giving you a shout out during the game itself. Was a little bit distracted, but thank you. Do appreciate it. Here we go. But for the time being, we are going to be going on a short break here. Okay, we got some updates. We do have some updates here. Okay, so we're going to be going for a short break because we have the first semis ready. ByuN takes down, so a couple of updates here. Replicant takes down Greener 2-0. ByuN takes down Replicant 2-0 as well, and we have the first semifinals ready. It is going to be a best of 3 between ByuN and Young Yakov. We'll see you soon after the break. See you soon. Welcome. Whoa, what just happened? Oh god. Wait. Wait, what? Wait, what? I have a... I'm so confused. I was like, do I have a UI bug? What's happening? But welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I was so flabbergasted. I was like, why didn't I see ByuN? What's happening with the UI? God damn it. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semifinals of the Tenacious Tussle. We are jumping into our semifinals here. Up next, we do have ByuN versus Young Yakov, and we are jumping into the first game. It's going to be on Magnetic North. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I do apologize here for the abrupt and confused start. I was accidentally in the player slot. I was so flabbergasted as what was happening. I was trying to turn on the production tab. I was like spamming D. I was like, wait, hold on. What's happening? There we go. Here we go. We're getting into our first series here and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Magnetic North. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg player himself. It is Young Yakov. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Ooh, as we are getting into our semifinals. Let's go. Let us go. So yeah, getting in. But I was so confused. I was trying to do this. I don't know if you noticed, but I was trying to zoom out. I was like, wait, what? I was like trying to zoom out. Then I was checking the production tab. Then I was checking to see if I could see. I was like, God. Not like this. Here we go. And welcome to Magnetic North. Magnetic North is, of course, one of the TLNC21 maps. This is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. There actually used to be a high yield gas geyser base here on the right hand side, but that was since removed. It did allow for a lot of all-ins. It looks like the map creator wasn't intending for that to be the case, so it was removed. Instead, was replaced by a regular gas geyser expansion instead, with a high yield gas base in the corner of the map instead here. So it is over on the corner. Meanwhile, we'll see how our players do approach this. We'll see how aggressive we open up. For now, racks expand, standard opener out of ByuN. Likewise, hatch gas pool out of Young Yakov. So far, so good. All those Zergs look the same. True. Smoked. I can't recall the last time I actually competed in a tournament. Obviously, I competed earlier this year in the show match, but it's been a while since I signed up for an open cup. Been a long time. Maybe one day. One day we'll wake up early for a Pegasus Cup. And we'll sign up. For now, though. For now, we are going to be settling in. As Reaper does slip in between the bases. And so far gets one drone. Very nice start for ByuN. One drone does go down. Can he get the tumor? Not quite. He thinks about it. Oh, gets a KDA charge. Barely does survive. Tumor lives and the Reaper backs off. And behind this we have a third CC. Third CC is on the way. So economic follow-up here out of ByuN. Third CC before starport. Meanwhile, Yakov, he is still droning. Saturating, everything looking as it should. The rush distance by ground is very direct on this map as well. You can see here it's quite difficult to engage the army in the center, as there's plenty of terrain here to deter and to deny any surrounds. So I can definitely see aggressive builds working in favor of ByuN, as he wants that tumor. Ooh, does get it. Barely does. Nice pickoff. Tumor goes down, wasting energy here on the queen. Ooh, as ByuN is going to be cleaned up. Behind this, we'll see where he takes us. Here we go. Oh, as Yakov, he's being a little bit cheeky here. Okay, what do we see? Additional gas income. Gas income, 2 more gases being taken, and that is a 4-minute lair. That is not normal. That is not standard. Going and rushing to a 4-minute lair. What could this be? Well, if we take another gas, this could be Muta play, right? We could be rushing into 2-base Muta. Otherwise, if we stay on 3 gases, I'm leaning towards a Nidus Worm. This could be to rush into Nidus play. There's no Overlord here outside of the natural. There's no Overlord into the main, though. So, yeah, not the best setup for Nidus play. What's it going to be? It still feels like Mutas. It still feels like Mutalisks. Show us what you got. So far, Hellion Scout is denied. It takes down one of the tumors. Tumor goes down. 2 more maxes on the way, getting to Bio, landing his 3rd TC. And there it is. The Spire has been thrown down. As we mentioned, a 4-minute lair, extra gases does scream a Spire play. Again, outside of that, I was thinking maybe Nidus, but the Overlords were not in position. And ByuN, did he see extra gases? He saw 1. He saw 1 extra gas geyser. That is a very early gas at the 3rd. That is a tell. That's a tell that something's wrong. Something isn't quite adding up here. So ByuN has yet to confirm the Spire itself, but he's seen enough to kind of tip him off that something is amiss. As you'd never take your gases at the 3rd base that quickly. And she's move in. Catching out a handful of drones. 1, 2, 3 drones going down. No chance to use on the queens, which means up. Oh, barely doesn't get it. Queen almost falls at the same time. And nice run by. Yakov gets a 3rd. 5 SCV kills. Decent run by. Muta production has begun. And ByuN has no major reaction. And again, ByuN is yet to confirm. ByuN is moving in. There's a very nice scan. Again, he realized something is wrong. He scans, he confirms the mutas. He knows turrets instantly get thrown down. We have 1 turret for each base. And the mutas are making their way towards the natural. They're rallying on over. Marines are in position in between the bases. Mutas they poke in. So far getting 1, getting 2 SCVs. 2 SCVs go down. Oof. You don't get much more done, and ByuN, he actually just commits across the map. He doesn't even care. Bold move. Bailing speed is complete. ByuN has to be so careful here. He does scan, does with the bailings. Tanks do barely siege in time. And ByuN is going for the kill. He's going for it. Mutas, they come in from behind. They're going for the tanks. Marines who defend. He gets 2 mutas. 2 more mutas go down. ByuN needs reinforcements. Does catch 2 more. Oof. Yeah, Yakov having miscontrol. 4 mutas get picked up, and ByuN pulls away. Yeah, he pulls back. He does force mistakes out of Yakov. He pulls back home. And ByuN is in a stronger position. The mutas were not worth it. So far, at least, they were not worth it. Yakov is ready for a counterattack, but ByuN is somewhat in position. Uh-oh. ByuN moves out. As he moves out, Yakov is ready. Oh. Main is moving in. Oh, does move in, does break through the natural. Barely gets in. He's going for the mineral line, and the bailings, it looks like they will connect. We get some okay connections. 6 SCVs. 6 SCVs go down. ByuN is still pushing to the center. Still moving out. Barely any creep. Gets the 1 tumor. As he moves out, nice thing run by. Yeah, Yakov in the face of these pushes. Always going for these counterattacks, not bad. It's 9. It's 9, 10, 11 SCV kills. Not bad damage out of Yakov. He's holding his own. ByuN is pushing into the third. He's pushing into the bases. Yakov trying to catch reinforcements, collapsing on the army. We'll get on top of the tanks at least, but the Banelings, can they make it? They cannot. Banelings don't break through. ByuN still moving in at the same time. Another Ling run by. Oh, Marines, they do take some Banelings to the face. But they sim in. Yeah, he sims and he breaks through. No more Banelings, and without Banelings, there is no defense. Army sims in, and ByuN is done it. ByuN is done it. He has broken young Yakov. Ay, ay, ay. GG gets called, and ByuN, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Something that we did mention at the start of this game was that here, specifically on the Magnetic North, it is more difficult for Zerg players to engage with these encroaching armies because of the terrain. Like the terrain, they do deter surrounds, they do deter those kind of engagements, so it was difficult here for young Yakov to engage with the main army. I was very impressed by the run-bys, by the counterattacks. A lot of damage was being done, but not enough to keep ByuN at home. Not enough to force him to turn around. With that, GG. GG, well played. ByuN does take a lead in the series, and now we're jumping into game number 2, going to be loading into Celestial Enclave. Let's go. We're getting into Celestial Enclave, and meanwhile, we have some updates here. The lower half of the bracket is ready for us. Oh boy. We'll be catching up with the bracket soon, but the lower semifinals is ready. Players are waiting, of course, for us to be ready for us to jump into that lower semis after the series. Oh boy. So we are nearing the tail end of the tournament. The tail end of the broadcast. We have 3 series left. Upper semis, lower semis, and grand finals. And here we go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Celestial Enclave, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg player himself. It is young Yakov. We go. And welcome one all to Celestial Enclave once again. Again, this is one of the larger maps, or this is the largest map in the map pool, a TLMC 21 map, and we'll see how our players do decide to approach this. Honestly, I would have said that this was a better map for mutas, and the previous map less so. One of the big issues of Magnetic North is that the Terran player can be much more assertive, can be much more aggressive on Magnetic North, and you saw that come into play. ByuN was very in the face of young Yakov, and Yakov had a really hard time getting away with his muta play. Here on Celestial Enclave, CC CC first, papi. Ay, ay, ay. Very greedy here by ByuN. Very greedy. You can get away with this as there is a pocket base, but this map is larger. Larger map. We do have a more open center as well. I would say it is more difficult for the Terran player to be aggressive, so it is easier to get away with something like muta play. The problem is I don't like the idea of going mutas 2 games in a row. So if there was a map to go for it on, this would have been it, but the idea of going 2 mutas in both game 1 and going mutas game 1 and game 2, I'm a little bit less fond of, so we'll see how young Yakov does adjust. Meanwhile, ByuN being hyper greedy, going for that faster command center, rushing into the pocket base. Now, bearing in mind this pocket expansion is less valuable, there are less minerals, there's less gas available here, so not the most impactful pocket base, but ByuN does feel the need to rush into it a little bit earlier to have that greedier start. Overlord goes in. Overlord does confirm the rack's just now finishing up, which means young Yakov should be aware it was a faster command center. He's aware. Octogenarian Yakov. He's seasoned, baby. Jesus. What a way to go about it. True, true. Adolescent Yakov. Experienced Yakov. No longer young, Spacky. That is an insanely early Baneliness, by the way. We're going for a bust. So Young Yak, I mean, it makes sense. Basically, what just happened? Young Yakov, he confirmed the very greedy build the CC's already done, and we're gonna try to punish. We're gonna try to punish here. We're flooding Lings across the map. We're going for the Bane bust. ByuN going for a third CC before stopping as well. So again, hyper greed out of ByuN. And what is the army? One Marine. This is the army. One Marine, pappy. Let's go. Banelings are soon to be morphing in. Now, there are going to be 2 Hellions. There's going to be 2 Hellions and 1 Marine to defend against the sea of Ling Bane. Here we go. Here we come. 6 Banelings. And ByuN should not hold here unless he finds this. Hellions, they move out. They find some of this. Yeah, he sees. He knows. Yeah, he sees what's going on. He knows. Hellions, they pull back behind the wall. Banelings are waddling in. And they will break through. They'll bust down that wall. Yeah, both T-Bears go down. Lings, they flood on 4. There's 2 Hellions remaining. 1 Bailey connects. Ooh, massive connection. Hellion gets around. There's 1 Hellion left. There's 1 Hellion remaining. Oh, sorry, there's 3. There's 3 down to 2. And again, ByuN should not have enough here. Lings are rallying. Bailey's they head for the mineral line. Oof. Brutal connections. Massive connections in the mineral line here. 1 Hellion remains. He's kiting his heart out. We have 2 more Hellions just now popping out. Hellions have potential, of course. They do wedge themselves in between the bases, in between the buildings, I should say. But it's still being cleaned up. And that's going to be 25 SCV kills. We have 13 SCVs left. And the Lings, they cannot be stopped, man. Nah. Yeah, they cannot. They will not be stopped. Going for the factory. GG gets called, and Young Yakov ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. GG, well played. We're going to the ace match. We're going to game 3. Again, ByuN went for a hyper greedy build, going CC first into 3rd CC before Starport. Insane greed out of ByuN. Young Yakov, as soon as he saw what was going on, bam, went for the bust. Cut workers at 21, went for the Ling Bane bust, and with that was able to snowball out of control. Here we go. Now we're getting into game number 3. We're getting into the ace match here. We're going to be loading into one of the more standard ladder maps. Going to be loading into Tokamak. Ooh, another large map, I should say. So a very large map known for longer and later games. Let's go. Let's go. See the chat. Interesting mineral bridge on this map, for sure. It is a way to preserve your workers, to save your workers at the triangular 3rd, potentially 4th base. But for now, we're getting into the ace match and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Blue Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg player himself tying up the series 1-1. It is Young Yakov. We go. And again, ByuN just being a little bit too cheeky in that last game, cutting too many corners, and Young Yakov, he does punish instantly. And now we're getting into the ace match here. We should be seeing a much more standard setup out of ByuN. Is opening up Rax Expand. So standard open out of our Terran player. Again, we're loading into Tokamak. Welcome one and all. This is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Very defensive map as well. We do often see longer games here on Tokamak, referring to 3, 4, 5 base setups. We'll see if we can get there. We'll see how our players will approach. So far, hatch gas pool, standard opener out of Yakov. Likewise, we'll see where ByuN takes us. We shall see. Shout out to the tuna. Sorry, the turtle even. Not the tuna. It's been far too long, Pappy. Far too long. One of these days, we'll bring back the platypus. True, true. We miss the platypus. It's really nice art. Really nice art. For for those that are curious, it's been a couple of years now, but we used to host an Oceania tournament, a tournament regional to Oceania and Southeast Asia, which was the Grand Platypus Open, GPO. And we had a lovely platypus mascot. It's been a while though, it's been a while. Is going to be zoned away. Behind this, we have a third CC before Starport. So economic opener here out of ByuN. Everything's looking normal. Everything looking standard. The Reaper pokes in. Just keeping tabs here on Young Yakov. And we'll see where he takes up from here. Our eyes are mainly on Young Yakov. He has done something quirky every game so far. Game 1, we saw rush into Mutas. It was a 4-minute lair. Game 2, of course, we saw the Bane Bust. Game 3, what's it going to be? This time we're not pulling into gas. 12 Lings are in production. It does look like Yakov wants to go for a bit of a counterattack. Sneak out. Shout out to the Toon Hurdle. Ah, yes, yes. Let's go. Here we go. So again, big investment into these Zerglings. We'll see if it's worth it. Young Yakov, the goal here is to bypass the Reaper, bypass the Hellions, and get into the bases. Now the Overlord did just spot the Reaper racing back home. Hellions in position as well. Hellion moves out. There's an opening. Ooh, there was. There was an opening here where the Hellion is dragged back home due to the Zergling. Yeah, ByuN does keep a Hellion back at him to defend. He moves out. As he moves out, Yakov, he is waiting for the Hellions to reveal themselves. But by then, there's going to be another set of Hellions. The Hellions are revealed. Yakov does pull the trigger, but by this point, it's too late. Yeah, he stays back. He stays back. He's waiting for the next move out. Meanwhile, 440 lair timing. Does open up lair first. Lings are moving in. Yeah, Hellions that were just revealed to the Overlord. Lings, they hit the natural. And they will get a couple of SCVs. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 SCVs going down. Not bad. Hellions, they race back home. That's going to be up to 5. It's going to be up to 6 SCV kills. 7. 7 SCVs and the Mule. Very nice. You are ByuN. Oh, he threatens a dive. Does threaten a dive. ByuN looking for another way in. Rotating over. Lings are in position. And Yakov keeps up. And so far, not bad. Yakov, he was able to get 7 SCV kills. He did trade out Lings, of course, but behind it, he's been joining quite heavily. And he's actually rushing into a faster Hydra Den. Wait, hold on. That is a Hydra Den before Bane Nest. We're going straight Ling Hydra. This is risky. This is very risky here. Going straight Ling Hydra does mean that the army's going to be quite vulnerable to bioplay. Without Banelings, I mean, it's going to be a tough hold. I believe the goal here for Young Yakov should be not to embrace Ling Hydra, but to rush into Lurkers. But we'll see. Banshees are deflected. Yeah, we have range upgrades on the way, not melee. So big investment here into Mass Hydra. Scan reveals Eva Chambers, reveals no Baliness, but the Baliness could be another base. Could be in the main. This feels very Miyamika-esque. I mean, Miyamika, he would be going for an earlier push, to be fair. He'd be cutting workers earlier and moving out with Hydras sooner as well. But still very unorthodox. Very unorthodox from Young Yakov. Jakub does slip in between bases, does catch a tank, not bad. Tank goes down, ByuN, oh, he turns around. Wow, he turns everything back around. Tank does fall. ByuN out of position, Lings, they get into the main. Very nice damage, and ByuN, he will miss his timing. This was meant to be a very strong timing here for ByuN. With Sim with 1-1, but everything gets dragged back home. And that means that Yakov, he has time to build up. He has time to build up his Hydras. He has time to mass up his army. And ByuN, he's falling behind. He's falling behind here. You can see Yakov maxing out. Maxing out with Mass Hydra. Can he break that siege line? There's only one tank. He starts stepping in. Does start step in. Boys are being pulled. Ooh, doesn't get on top of the tank. Yeah, it doesn't get the tank, which means ByuN, he will hold. He will shut this down. Oof. Ah, that was meant to kill. That was meant to kill then and there. Fails to do so. The one tank held. I feel like ideally, Yakov, if you want to fight this out in the open. And we spoke earlier, Tokamak is known for being defensive. Like, it is difficult to break a turtling player here. It doesn't knock down the rocks. Oof, and Yakov forced attack. Forced attack up, forced to drone as well. Again, that was meant to end the game. And now we're taking up in towards the infestation pit. 5th base is on the way, droning up to 81. And I believe this should be for lurkers. I believe it should be for Hive intel lurkers, but we'll see. Okay, getting some safety infestors. Infestors are on the way. It's so Hydra heavy. There's that lurker den, and we're going to embrace a longer game. So we're slowing things down. We're going to be getting into a longer game here, taking a bit of Hive, taking a bit of Hive upgrades. Likewise, ByuN most likely should not push. He should stay at home until he maxes. So ByuN is just turtling up as best he can. And again, this map favors this style. Like, this map is known for turtle play. Center tower is being thrown down. Planetary is soon to be on the way as well. We're just turtling up. Very in theme with the name of the tournament. True. What are we doing? We're turtling. Tenaciously. Let's go. Throwing down turrets. Center towers. Walling up with all the tanks. At the same time, we do have Microbial Shroud on the way. Let's go. Let's go. Getting into Microbial Shroud. Now, I've yet to actually see Microbial Shroud in ZVT. The new patch has been live for quite some time now. Oh, Jesus, we're going for a Dream Drop. Okay. Bold move, setting it for a Dream Drop. What I was going to say is that we have yet to really... I've at least yet to see this come into play. Has a lot of potential here, as it does, of course, reduce ranged attacks and rage damage. But for now, we're going for the drop. Main base is exposed. Lurkers on the right hand side, looking to distract. There is no planetary. A little bit greedy. And here we go. The Dream Drop does arrive. Does go for the mass unload. No lurkers though. Does get 2 ghosts. 2 ghosts go down. Yakov, he dives on top of the 3rd base. Ooh, Microbial Shroud isn't ready. Yeah, Microbial Shroud just now being available. Tries to commit in. There's the Shroud. That's a kill. No, the Fungal doesn't connect. Yeah, no Fungal. And with that, ByuN holds. ByuN, he holds. Lurkers, they are going to be cleaned up as well. Yeah, some expensive losses here from Yakov. He does not get into the mineral line. And likewise, he will lose everything in the main as well. So some brutal losses. Yakov, he backs off and he's taking into a Greater Spire. Okay. Greater Spire is on the way. Getting ready for Brood Lords. Now, I do think that, I mean, this is going to be a superior composition. It was really cool seeing, hey, Microbial Shroud, we got to see it. It was okay. Unfortunately, Yanyaku was going for a split push, and it all kind of fell apart. We're done with that. We're done with Microbial Shroud. We're done with the Infestors. We're going into what should be Broodlord Infestor, where Fungal is going to be more important. And we'll see if Yanyaku can get there. And this is just a really good way to take advantage of the fact that ByuN is turtling, right? Because ByuN is turtling up back at home, it means that Yanyaku, he's free to mass expand, free to mass saturate, and free to tech up. See in the chat, does Shroud reduce damage from Snipe? No. Snipe counts as an ability / spell, I believe. Similar to Storm, right? Like, you can be like, oh, but Storm is like a ranged attack. No. Like, Storm still does max damage. Or like Purification Nova counts as an ability. So like Nova's unaffected, Storm is unaffected, Snipe is unaffected. ByuN does take the expansion. Going for the center gold going to be difficult to maintain as here come those broods. Meanwhile, starting with Marines, it's probably going to take up into Marines and finish up with some Marines and win the game. Someone needs to watch some StarCraft. I mean, Marines are a part of the army. Same with like Zerglings, right? But now we're taking up into Ghosts. So Ghost Tank. This should lead into Ghost Tank Liberator. Should lead in that direction eventually. Once the Broodlords are revealed, we can even incorporate a couple of... Yep, there we go. Speaking of Liberators, 2 more Starports. So triple Starport production into a Fusion Core in towards Mass Lib to support the army. As we do have the second Spire on the way, getting into double upgrades. Destroy some of the mineral patches, not bad. Takes down the patches. And ByuN will snipe the expansion. At the same time, here come the Broodlords. The Broodlords are moving in. Ooh, snipes to connect. Nice EMP on the Infestors. And the snipes are brutal here. A lot of Broodlords going to be going down. Oh my god. Broodlord, get out of here. No. That was how many? That was 8? Yeah, 8 Broodlords get sniped. Brutal losses there for Yanyaku. Again, Broodlords on their own, they do nothing. They need that Infestor support. And there were only 2 Infestors. Yeah, only 2 Infestors. That was not good enough. They got EMP'd instantly. And that was a very strong fight for ByuN. Okay, from here, cleans up all the Hydras. Fungal does come in, but where's the follow-up? Yeah, there is none. Yeah, no follow-up. More snipes helping up. Oh, nice target firing out of the Broodlords. Cancels the snipe. Oh no, try to at least. As another Broodlord falls. And Yanyaku, he's replenishing that army, but he burns through his bank, right? He burns through the bank, which is brutal. Like, the Terran army is more efficient. You do need a bank here to be able to replenish your army and to rebuild. And Yanyaku, he burns through his gas bank. Oh, Ghosts are out of position. Okay. Oh. One getting 3 more Broodlords. Aye. And here comes Liberator range. As we mentioned, like, the late game composition is going to be Lib Ghost Tank. It's a lot of Ghosts. Bearing in mind that this setup was buffed in the most recent patch as well, as the Ghost now has reduced supply. It used to be 3, now down to 2 supplies, so you can mass up more Ghosts than before. So the mass Ghost style, it's very much so back. I mean, it always was, but even more so than before. Nice catch. It's one ghost. One ghost goes down. Okay, how many infestors do we have? 6. That's okay. 6 infestors. We got a handful of vipers. Broodlords are moving in. What counters mass ghost for Zerg? Fungals. Like, you need to be able to lock down the army with fungals. That is the one way to deal with ghosts. Speaking of fungal, oh, it doesn't quite connect. Oh! Yeah, it grazes the army. But as you can see here, like, we're trying to land on those ghosts. And even though the fungals don't land, it zones. As you can see here, 20 SCV kills. 20 SCVs go down, so the infestors, their role here is to zone at least, or to catch the army. And what's stopping ByuN from moving in are the infestors, right? Because there's still fungals left over. So it's being used here to zone the ghosts away, allowing the broodlords to get the mineral line. Speaking of what up, infestors are too far back, getting 1, getting 2, 3. Yeah, fungal was too late. Yeah, here the infestors that were too far back. And Yakov here overextends at the same time. Massive catch. Oh my god. ByuN pushing onto creep. Gets caught out. Yeah, he gets caught out here. A massive catch here for young Yakov. And nicely done. The rest of the army does respond. And Yakov has to back up. Oof. Yeah, brutal snipes. Yakov has to pull away. And basically you have this back and forth dance here where you need to make use of your broodlord infestor well when it comes to supporting your broodlords, when it comes to moving in, dancing with the army, being out of range of the EMPs. Ideally you want to be splitting up your group of infestors into 2 so you don't get EMP'd completely. You don't want them to clump against ghosts. As Yakov does least stun eye mining, but ByuN, he has another base up and running. He has another expansion. So ByuN is moving in. Does move in. Broodlords are out of position. This base is going to go down. Yeah, the base does fall. Young Yakov cannot engage into this, not with the mass lib. Liberation has arrived. Young Yakov goes for a massive counterattack instead. He wants to go. Ooh, not bad, but there's cloak. Yeah, there is cloak. The surround is denied. And we're moving in. Yeah, we're just pushing into the bases here. Nuke leads the charge. And Yakov, I don't think he can stop this. Yeah, not like this. It does catch out a good portion of ghosts. That's gonna be 3. 3 ghosts go down. 3 ghosts, that's not good enough. Not good enough. I mean, how'd the queens get here? What just happened? Yeah, ghosts are responding to the broodlords. Lings, they're coming for the surround. Here come the fungals. Oh! Ooh, does graze the army. Does catch out 1, 2, 3 ghosts go down. Ah, but only 3. Only 3 ghosts. Liberation has arrived. And ByuN is snowballing out of control. Breaks to the main army. Snipes another broodlord. Try to pull off a dark play and neural ghost in the EMP. Yes, yes. That's another way of approaching it. True. If you can get behind or on top of the army, you can try to go for the neural. It's very difficult, but it is possible. As ByuN is maxed, and Yakov, he can't keep up anymore. He can't keep up with these trades. ByuN has just been too cost efficient. Jesus, snipes a chunk of hydras. Likewise, broodlords as well. Where are the infestors? They're too far back. Infestors are too far back here. Oh, decent fungal. Fungal does catch a portion of those ghosts. There's only one. Yeah, only one. The EMP was brutal here. No more fungals, and with that, the final stand of young Yakov. He will lose everything now the EMP lands. And ByuN snowballs out of control. GG gets called, and ByuN will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. A really unique style here out of young Yakov. Winding it back as a reminder, how did this begin? It began with a Ling Hydra all-in. Remember, young Yakov, he almost maxed out on 4 bases, droned up very quickly, went into mass Hydra, and he almost but failed to break ByuN. It was a really big moment. It was a really big moment here when young Yakov, when he pushed towards the third base, ByuN had that one tank in position, and he held. He was able to hold on. With that, that was when young Yakov did lose a little momentum, and that is when ByuN decided to turtle. Remember, he turtled up from there on 4 bases. If you recall, this map is known for that turtle style. It is stronger on Tokamak just because of the terrain, I should say, just because of the defensive setup. We saw that young Yakov, his goal there was to try to tech up in towards the lurkers. That's when he went for the mass doom drop. That was the follow-up. He went for a doom drop into the main base, lurker attack on the right with a microbial shroud, and it fell on its face. We saw a little bit of miscontrol there with a bit of a later with as he moved in before Shroud was ready. Shroud was being researched. The drop in the main base could completely shut down. I was expecting lurkers in that drop. There was no lurkers. No lurkers in the drop, at least that were on the right-hand side, and ByuN shut down that push, and then he recovered. That was when ByuN recovered from being a little bit behind from the earlier economic damage, and it took a little bit longer there. It took a little bit longer for young Yakov to tech up into Broodlords, and even then, once he got there, he had a really hard time keeping up with ByuN's trades, with his efficiency. GG, well played. With that, we're now getting into our fresh series. With that, ByuN is the first player to make it through into the grand finals, and we're here to determine who will join him. Who will join him in those finals? It is going to be a best of 3 between our Terran and our Protoss player. One moment as I quickly try to set up. Un momento. Beautiful. Okay, spawning in the bottom hand corner. Bottom hand corner here at Percival, we have the red Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player, the blue Terran himself. It is Percival from South Korea. Here we go. So we are getting into our next game. So we're getting into our fresh series. But again, so ByuN, he had a really nice kind of like comeback or recovery in that last game. As we pointed out, young Yakov, he did overextend one too many times, referring to his Hydra Doom drop into the main base, referring to the first failed Hydra assault at the third as well. Again, it was really aggressive, really assertive, and in the end, it did amount to nothing. It was unable to break the defensive line there, and ByuN recovered in that game, able to turtle up on 4 bases, get a 5th, and build up into Mass Ghost. Meanwhile, we saw that young Yakov, his Broodlord Infestor was a little bit lacking when it came to his positional play. We saw many times that the Broodlords were just, that the Infestors were a little bit too far back, were out of position, and you could see that Broodlords on their own, they do nothing. Like, Broodlords on their own, they're so vulnerable, they're so exposed, they need that support, otherwise they just get shut down hard by Mass Ghost. That's the reason why it's called Broodlord Infestor, and not just Broodlord, you know. But regardless, with that, GG, well played. Now we're getting to our fresh series, getting to our TVP, and so far we do have an economic opener out of Percival, Rax Expand out of our Terran player, meanwhile Shameless opening up with his own standard opener as well. Let's go. Let us go. Just catching up in the chat. Yakov is getting super dangerous. I mean, we've seen Yakov beat ByuN before. Like, that has happened. That was like, what, 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago? It was this year. Earlier this year, we have seen Yakov take down ByuN, and it's typically been with these aggressive builds, right? In that last series, we spoke about it. We spoke about the Bane Bust that we saw, which did work against ByuN, and on Tokamak, like, I can see that Hydra timing working as well. Remember, it was a crazy build going into that mass Hydra build off of a 4-base economy, but I believe the goal and where that really works is if ByuN was out on the map. And remember, ByuN, he pulled back home. Because there was like a Ling run by happening at the same time, ByuN, he actually pulled back his army, so he wasn't caught out in the open, which would have changed everything. I feel like the game would have ended then and there if ByuN was active on the map. But yeah, some very aggressive builds out of the Zerg. For now, we have our tech of choice. Going to be a Blink-based opener, so Twilight Council into Blink for Shameless. How many gateways? I believe 2. Yeah, 2-gate Blink into a 3rd. Very greedy here by Shameless, and this is risky against Percival of all players. Percival, he has some killer TVP, by the way. Very, very killer TVP. Known for aggression, known for being very in the face of his opponent. Rarely do we see macro play out of Percival in this matchup, and we're building up into a committed Widowmine drop. So we're going for the quad drop. 4 Widowmines do move out. And Percival, he did scout the greedy build. So again, really fast 3rd base out of Shameless, before gases, before Robo, before the 3rd gateway. And the pressure is on Percival to punish this. For now, opening up with a mind drop. Does open up. Drops into the main. So far, Shameless does react in time. Does react, does pull away. Oh. Baits up the mine shots. So far, nice defense. Oh, that's going to be 3 probe kills. And we have 1 more shot getting 4. 4 probes do go down, and 3 auto mines get saved. Very nice attack here by Percival. Very nice. As he can always go back in and go for another drop. Meanwhile, we're building up to a 3-1-1 stim timing, really fast stim, delayed tank production out of Percival, non-existent tanks as that is a reactor on the factory. So 0 tanks rushing into Bio. But there's less reason to go into tanks because of the 2-gate opener. Like, again, there's barely any Blink Stalkers to speak of to harass and to apply pressure. So tanks are unnecessary. So building up the Bio. Raven harasses on the way. And from here, we'll keep an eye on Percival. What we're looking for is 2 more Raxes. Does Percival throw down 2 more Raxes and turn this into a 2-base all-in, or does he throw down a 3rd CC and build up into a more macro game? We're waiting to see. As he's prioritizing those Marauders. Getting into Marine Marauder. Oh, also, if I haven't already, if you're in the chat, predictions. There we go. If you're in the chat, a little bit late, but it is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Will this go the way of Shameless? Will this go the way of Percival? Honestly, I can see this going either way. Shameless, he is, I will say at this point, one of the best Protoss players in Europe. Would I pin Shameless above Geralt and Christiana right now? I would say he's comparable. Shameless, he has, I would say, he's had some really strong moments this year, for sure. Of course, went to Star Zagora. Was meant to go to Star Zagora, if you recall. I would say he's comparable, for now. I can't vote against Christiana, true. Shameless pokes in, Shameless pulls away. And Percival does expand. If you recall, we were waiting to see the Raxes. It was a 3rd TC before the extra set of Raxes, so we have an economic build here by Percival. He's building up into the mid-game. So getting into the mid-game, Stim is done. Now he's marauding around the map. Looking for pickoffs. Looking to have the Bay on the way. Bay is on the way. Shameless building up towards Colossus, but he's not ready yet. He's stuck with the gateway composition, and Shameless does have the smaller army. Oh, setting up with a surrounder. Okay. Does set up. Comes in from behind. Mine shots are going off. We have some decent connections. And Shameless does hold. And here he should be able to hold on. Nice kiting, though, out of Percival. Kites back, cleans up all the Zealots. Ooh, and Shameless is exposed. Yeah, he's exposed. He cannot fight this head on. Not without Zealots. They're barely coming to reinforce. Whew. Shameless does barely hold on. It barely does hold. The Widowmine drop comes back in. Does unload 2 Widowmines just in time. No reaction. Oh! Oh my god. Brutal. No reaction here. 6 probes do go down. Brutal damage. Shameless is being pulled apart. The missile goes off. Now, one of the reasons why this defense was so brutal here is lack of splash damage, but it's on the way. Colossus production is well underway here, so Shameless, he can stabilize. But right now, momentum is in favor of Percival. Has that momentum. Oh. Here, Stim's in. Shameless trying to force him back home, but there's air supply. Yeah, there's plenty to defend. Shameless is just trying to build up. Neo still frames? I don't think that's intentional. I think that's meant to be +2. There we go. Okay. Does get cancelled. It's freaking out for a moment there. I was like, wait, what? So yeah, 2-2 on the way here for Percival. Now moving out. Does pull the base, and he should force a cancel. I'm hoping it's going to be a cancel, not a kill. Oh, gets in. There we go. Does force that cancellation. Keeping Shameless on 4 bases. Shameless turns around. Hoping to catch the army. Percival, he can fight this head on. Catching another Stalker. And he pulls away. Yeah, he does pull away in time. Oh my god. 1 medevac falls. Decent catch there from Shameless. Gets a medevac, picks off a couple of Marauders. And not bad. Back around, gets a Widow Mine. First he does notice, he's like, hold on, how'd you see that? Catches the Observer. And from here, the armies, they back off. They back off from each other. Shameless, his own 5th base was delayed, so late 5th base out of Shameless. Percival getting a 4th. I would say that Percival, he has the greater economy. Better economy here for Percival. He's keeping up, if not exceeding, when it comes to the army supply. And the pressure's on Shameless. Pressure's on.
Add-on complete.
Yes, the target firing. Yeah, getting 16 probe kills. I believe there was a Liberator towards one of the other bases as well. Yeah, towards the natural. So the Liberator did pop off. It was 2 Liberators even. Shameless is built up to 3 Colossi, and this is an okay army. The problem here is that, again, we're stuck with purely Colossus for splash damage. Ideally, in this kind of game state, you want Colossus into Disruptor or Colossus into Storm. With only 1, Percival, he just needs Vikings. And speaking of, he has plenty. Yeah, Vikings to engage, missile goes up. Brutal connection, and Shameless is getting cornered. He has to get the hell out of here. 1 Colossus goes out. He's trapped. No. Yeah, he's caught out in the open. Nice force fields. They delay, but every Colossus falls, and Shameless, he has nothing left. Gets completely caught out. His army crumbles, and Percival does snowball out of control. Snowball's out of control here. In the end, the economic opener of Shameless just wasn't quite worth it. He lost map control early. Splash damage was delayed. He never really got an army. He had a couple of Colossus, sure, but as we mentioned, like again, like on their own, they don't do much. And with that, Percival has done it. He's going for the split push, going for the 5th, going for the 3rd. Nexus goes down. And Shameless can't stop him. He's warping in whatever he can. Decent EMPs. EMPs pop up. So I'll say do get on top of the ghost at least. That's 3 ghosts going down. So it does catch a couple of ghosts, but outside of that, Outside of that, Percival cannot quite keep up. Percival, sorry, I meant to say Shameless. Sorry, I was blanking out a little bit. Yeah, I'm on 3 hours of sleep, Pat. Yeah. Now we have Disruptors. Now we have Disruptors on the way. So Shameless, he's now incorporating some extra splash damage here, but the damage has been done. And it's too late because now we have Liberators. This is kind of the end goal of Terran, is to go into into Liberator production. Liberators are like the end goal. They're the ideal. They typically force out Skytoss in a longer later game, but Shameless is crippled. So he's one step behind. Did they fix the female ghost supply bug? Yes. Did fix. I mean, you can do the math. Do the math. I believe it's fixed. Percival moves in. And you can see, like, the army supply and mineral supply does add up to the overall supply that they have. So the mass checks out. Nova goes up. Oof. Does graze the army. Yeah, and with that Percival, he does overwhelm, does break through. He's up all the zealots. Oof. And yeah, the disruptors, they really can't keep up. Thankfully, no friendly fire, but GG gets called, and with that Percival, he will take game number 1. He'll take a lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played, does take a lead. Again, Shameless, he did have a really hard time in the mid game trying to keep up. We spoke earlier about how his Colossus production was delayed. We saw the Vikings popping off as well. He had a really brutal fight in the center as Vikings did flank and did shut down Shameless. GG. GG, well played. Again, he had built up towards that moment, got caught out of position, out in the open, and Percival did snowball out of control. GG. GG, well played. With that, Percival does take a lead in the series, and now we're getting into game number 2, and we'll see if Shameless can recover. We'll see if he can bounce back. I mean, I'm hoping for an ace match, but we'll see what map we load into, more importantly. We shall see. As game 2 is going to be on Magnetic North. Building armor overrated. Oh, sorry, underrated. True. So we're getting into game 2. This is going to be a much smaller map. Or I say much smaller map. It's going to be a more aggressive map in the map pool, and we'll see who will favor on where that aggression does fall, where that aggression does lie. We have our own thoughts as we're getting into game 2 and spawning in the bottom hand corner of Magnetic North. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing himself, currently teamless. It is a Percival. Leading the series 1-0, and spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. Here we go, and welcome one and all to Magnetic North. This is of course one of the TLMC21 maps and does favor more aggressive builds and aggressive styles, and we did expect that out of Percival in game 1. We didn't quite get that though. Percival, he was active, that is true, but he was still getting a 3rd and a 4th CC. He was still building up. We did not see an all-in. I will say that all-ins are going to be favored here on Magnetic North. I do favor all-ins, especially from the side of Terran on this map. We'll see if Percival does embrace that. We'll see if he does head in a different direction. Show us what you got. From here, once again, economic opener out of Percival, going racks expand. So economic start out of the Terran. Ooh, a little bit off center. Shaky start here out of our Terran player. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this. And there was nothing like denying him either. The probe was out of position. He wasn't there to block. So calm down, Percival. Calm down. Too much coffee in the morning, Pat. So as we get into this, a nice start for Shameless. As we did have some wasted resources there. Go. Couldn't he just move it when it's built? I don't know what the math is like for that, but you're correct in that respect. It will take a little bit longer for it to lift and land than it is to just rebuild. But I believe that would be more efficient, yes, to lift and land instead of cancel. Here, we're building up. You have our 1-1-1 follow-up. Meanwhile, Stargate opener out of Shameless. Ooh, that is a bold move. That is a bold move here for Shameless. Going for the Stargate. I don't like this. So Stargate play, we spoke about this before, but it is a little bit more vulnerable here to aggressive builds and to all-ins. We typically see Stargate play on some larger maps like Maganatha, maps like Tokamak, sometimes Incorporeal as well. Going for this on Magnetic North is a bit of a bold move here from Shameless. Reaper heavily into the main, he does get a full scout, does confirm the Stargate. It's a nice scout here by Percival. Widowmine should be getting in position, and Viking production has begun. So Widowmines, they get into the mineral line. We have one here in the main. Vikings are on the way, Cyclone as well. So far, so good. So far, so good. Third base not being taken. Immortal production has begun. Maybe really wanted that bunker on that spot. Actually, sorry, I just double checked something. So I don't know if you noticed. The math wasn't adding up, so I was a little bit confused what happened there. That wasn't a CC that was canceled. That's why there was the instant cancel, the instant rebuild. If you noticed, we have the Hellion, we have the Reaper, and we have the canceled building. That wasn't a CC. It was minus 37 minerals, right? It was a Rax. He actually threw down a Rax by accident, so that's why there was that cancellation. Sorry, I just double checked on the VOD. So if you notice, I did show the units lost tab, and it was only 37 minerals. I was like, wait, what? But it was a Rax, so that's what we had there. So wasn't misplaced, just the wrong building entirely. Smudge. But regardless, here comes the early push. Now, if you recall, we did mention at the beginning of the game, going for a Stargate opener does leave you vulnerable to these early pushes, and this map does favor that style as well. So what do we have to work with? We have 5 Vikings, 2 tanks. Percival does push through the center, and it's going to be a tough hold here for Shameless. Charge is nowhere near being done. Can the tanks get within range? There's a scan. Tanks, try to move in. Observer does spot this. Percival playing it safe. Does leapfrog forward. At the same time, this will take longer. Does get 1 Phoenix, but we've bought enough time for a second Immortal, and Charge is almost done. Charge is almost complete. The longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for Shameless. So Percival, he is committed. Takes down the shield battery. Shield battery does go down. Tanks are slowly moving forward. Zealot taking him from behind. Here comes the surround, and he'll lose all the tanks. Yeah, every tank is going to go down. And I believe Shameless should hold here. Yeah, he does. He does hold on. Again, just took a little bit too long here to really get going. Vikings do land, they're true. Yeah, Vikings do land. Percival doesn't have enough. He takes down the Immortal. There's one left. One Immortal left. Warpin does barely complete. Phoenix, they lift up the Vikings. Let's go. They lift up the Vikings, and with that Shameless, he cleans up the army. Down to 2 Vikings, down to 1. Yeah, 1 Viking left, still very close as the final Immortal barely survives on 1 HP, 3 HP Immortal. He holds back. Ay, ay, ay. And that was very committed here from Percival. Now, thankfully, behind this 30T, there was a third command center, so he was building it behind this. Stim is now done. Ghost Academy's on the way. So Percival, he was teching up, but that was still a very committed push, and Percival, he plummets in supply. That was meant to break the third. That was meant to at least break the army. He failed to do so. And again, that was partially because it took so long, right? It took so long to really get going. Percival, he was so tentative with his tanks. Don't blame him. And now it's time to counterattack. Shameless, he has momentum. Wouldn't mind dropping to the natural. Shameless, does he react in time? He's pushing. Yeah, does collapse in. Remember, there's no defensive tanks. Gets into the mineral line. Probes are going down. Late reaction. 8 probe kills. But he's going for the kill. He's going for the kill. He's going for the throats. Takes down all the SCVs. Pushing into the natural. That's going to be 14 dead SCVs. Ay, ay, ay. Archons are barely hanging on. Nice target firing. Gets 1. Oof, gets 1. Gets 2 Archons. But here comes a massive warp in. And Shameless has done as we are going to the ace match. We're going to game 3, Pat. Let's go. GG gets called. Shameless overwhelms, and Shameless ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, Percival, he was very committed to his push, very committed to that tank Viking move out. Yes, Percival did expand behind it, but I mean, he was still very committed nonetheless. And he failed to break through, he failed to push into the third base. It was not worth it. He lost all the Vikings, lost all the tanks more importantly. And without those tanks, that defensive position back at home was that much weaker. GG. GG, well played. Oh, we are getting into game number 3, and we'll see how this story ends. See how this story ends here, as game 3 is going to be on Tokamak. Here we go. Wasn't eBay, it was a Rex. It was Rex. Yeah. It was a flank with the Zealot and tanks that did it. It was buying enough time for Charge to finish. If you recall, Charge was not even halfway done when Percival, he was halfway across the map. But if you recall, he was very tentative to move in, thanks to the Observer as well. Remember, there was an Observer covering the main army of Percival, which meant that whenever he tried to siege up, whenever he would move in position, move up, Shameless's army would respond in kind. So Shameless was always there to make sure the tanks could not freely siege. It took a long time for Percival to actually move in. It allowed Shameless not just finish Charge, but also to get the second Immortal as well. So technically, like, MVP Observer, to make sure that Shameless was able to ensure that Percival wasn't able to get a good position. He was delayed. GG. And with that, we're now getting into our next game. This morning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran being forced into the ace match. It is Percival. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. Here we go. A real Phoenix first Justice Academy? No. It was a Stargate Phoenix opener. It was 5 Phoenixes, if you recall. Making 1 Phoenix Justice Academy is crazy. It's a crazy big investment, especially on a small map. But speaking of maps, we're loading into Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool, second largest only to Maganatha, known for longer and later games. If you recall, we had a long late game between ByuN and Young Yakov on this map. Did go to the late game, did end up with maxed out armies. I'm not saying that it has to lead there here, but that's kind of where the games do trend on tokamak. Because that Percival, in my mind, is going to try to end the game a little bit earlier for now. Economic opener out of the Terran player, but Percival, he typically thrives in the more mid to, or I guess I should say mid game. Does thrive in the mid game. We'll see if Shameless can defend and survive until he can settle it, until he can really get comfortable and get up to a 4 base economy. We shall see. Shameless did open up Zealot first. Bold move. You can see he was checking for proxies. So in Zealot first, checking for proxies. I don't blame him. Again, Percival has a reputation of being hyper aggressive. Shameless is aware of that. In the end, it does mean that this is a more inefficient start, and now we open up Stargate. Now, I am more fond of this here. As you remember, if you recall in the previous map, I was a little bit concerned about the Stargate opener just because you are vulnerable to all-ins and vulnerable to aggression, and Percival did commit, but despite that, wasn't quite enough to break Shameless. Despite the map, despite the build, Shameless was able to shut it down, was able to delay, was able to buy enough time to survive. Here on tokamak, it should be a little bit easier to get away with Stargate play, as all-ins are even more deterred, even more lessened here on tokamak. Longer rush distance by ground, more defensive setup. You have the high ground, you have the elevated positions here to defend, to engage as the defending player. As we do see Percival opening with a Widowmine drop, and Shameless, ooh, does open up, not Phoenix first, does open up Oracle first instead. Here we go. We'll see if Shameless does invest into an earlier Twilight Council. We'll keep an eye on the Protoss. If there is earlier Twilight Council. Now, typically, if we open Stargate, then go Twilight Council, this should be into charge. But because there's no Phoenixes, then there's a higher chance it's going to be Blink Stalkers. We'll see. Hellion goes down, the Oracle moves out across the map. Bearing in mind, there is no second Oracle. No second Oracle, so just one to harass. And this does mean that the upgrade on the Twilight Council is going to be heavily delayed. Heavily delayed. There's going to be a window in time where Percival doesn't have to worry about Blink, doesn't have to worry about charge, doesn't have to worry about that early upgrade, that early tech. Oracle moves in, does hit the main. Will pick up a couple of SCVs, Marines that late to respond. Wouldn't mind dropping to the main base as well. So far, only getting 3 SCV kills. Not too much damage. And Shameless does react. Yeah, he does react in time, does pull away. And now we're entering a similar game state to last game, where we are going to Blink. But again, this is going to be delayed. This means that there's less of a map presence. And I'm curious to see if Percival goes for another early push. For now, he doesn't have tank production. There's the add-on swap into earlier stim. So stim is going to be on the way, +1 is going to be on the way, and we'll see if he does go for additional Raxes. Shameless is making use of that Stargate, going for the Phoenix. This is to hunt down the initial medevac. Do not worry about the drop. So far we've got 3 Raxes. And again, there's an extended period of time here where Percival doesn't have to worry about harass. Outside of the Oracle, which does go down. Oh, that is not worth it for Shameless. Oracle does fall. Got 3 SCVs in total. So a better trade for the Terran. And do you see what I see? 2 more Raxes. 2 more Raxes on the way. No third TC yet. This is very committed play here on 2 bases. Going to Stim, going to Mass Marine, Mass Bio. And there's going to be a very strong Stim timing. Very strong Stim timing here for Percival. Now Shameless, he's got his 3rd base up and running. He's going for his Gateway Explosion. Shameless, he can shut this down. He needs to engage ahead of time though. It is crucial here that Shameless is active with these Stalkers and he delays the push and ideally does force the early siege as well. I mean, ideally catches a tank, which would be crazy. Phoenix doesn't confirm. The other important thing here with these extra ranks is they're far behind. I should say they're far back, so they're harder to scout. Remember, there's no add-ons. Why? He has the option to pull the boys. 2 base all in. 2 base all in out of Percival. He can pull the boys with this. It's all or nothing. Charge is not even halfway done. +1 will finish in the middle of this fight. We're reinforcing with the Liberators. Yeah, it's all or nothing here. Now, the downside, as we mentioned before at the start of this game, is that all-ins are weaker on Tokamak. As you can see here, there's a lot of like points of elevation, a lot of ways to slow this down, longer rush distance. First, a little bit of supply book, and there we go. We pull the boys. As we mentioned, did have the option to pull the boys. It's all or nothing for Percival. Either he kills Shameless or he dies trying. Shameless, oh, he gets caught out. Yeah, he gets caught. One Stalker does fall. Yeah, rough movement there from Shameless. Does get the Cyclone. Does force the early stim. Does force out a stim, but the tanks are getting within range. Yeah, they're getting within range. Charge is barely done in time. Nice split there with the Zealots. Getting on top of the SCVs, but the tanks, they do siege up. Yeah, boys are being pulled. It's going to be a tough hold here for Shameless. Tank boys here on the Stalkers. A lot of Stalkers go down. And can he get on top of the tanks? It looks like Percival, he has enough. Yeah, Percival, he's done it. He breaks through the main army. He barely does break through. Breaks down the third base. Sieging further in. We can see Shameless trying to catch reinforcements, but he already lost so many Stalkers. Yeah, Shameless lost too much. He lost too many Stalkers there in that first engage. Does get a tank, does get some Marines. But Percival, he's moving in. Does move in, does get on top of the Archers' pylon. There were no defensive immortals either. And again, this is the risk you take when you go for Stargate play, right? Like when you open up Stargate, you are so vulnerable to these all-ins. Just because it delays everything. Cleans up all the Stalkers, cleans up the Zealots, and with that, GG gets called. Percival, he will take the series 2-1. He'll advance on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Percival. He will claim the series. Again, there is a reason why these Stargate openers are a little bit more rare nowadays. You do leave yourself vulnerable. They are risky to go for just because you're delaying your other tech. Likewise, especially with this style, there wasn't really anything to delay, to harass. You could definitely argue that, I mean, it all came into play. The Oracle got only 3 SCV kills, was not worth it in the end. Likewise, you saw Stalkers trying to engage, trying to delay, but also got caught in the center of the map as well. So brutal start there, brutal pickoffs in favor of Percival. With that, Percival does take it. GG. GG, well played. Got across the map, was able to siege up in time. And with that, he does advance on to the grand finals. We are heading over to the Korean server for those finals. Let's go. Exclamation mark. Be in the chat. Have a look at the back yourselves. We have our top 2 players here. Shout out to both Young Yakov and Shameless for making a series out of it. We did see ace matches in the semifinals, and we'll see if the grand finals can live up to that. See if we can live up to that here, as we do have ByuN versus Percival in those finals. Let's go. Do need a moment to set up, but of course it's going to be best of 5. Best of 5 grand finals here between ByuN and Percival. They have faced off in the past already, quite often actually, and I will say, because Percival is so active in the online tournament scene, and because there are so many Terran players in the Korean scene, referring to Maru, Bunny, Kyor, ByuN, Ryung, Gumiho, Korea's nowadays kind of land of Terran, because of that, Percival's TVT has been improving this year. Has been getting better and better. I still do favor ByuN for sure, but we have seen Percival take it to players like ByuN, Kyor, and Bunny in recent weeks, in recent months. Has been able to have more of a back and forth. So that is what we are hoping for. But otherwise, we're going to be going on a short break. Here, and when we come back, we will have the grand finals. It won't take too long. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your Marines, and we'll see you soon in a couple of moments with those finals. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals. Those grand finales here of the Tenacious Tussle number 34. Again, this is our bi-weekly tournament. It is back here for the new off-season of StarCraft 2 post-EWC, and we have our two top finalists, our two top players. And spawning in the right-hand corner of Magnetic North, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, as Spider-Man meme, 2x Reaper versus 2x Reaper. let's go. Oh, do we scout each other? In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran. We do scout each other somewhat as the SUVs do pass by. It is Percival. And here we go. We have the 2x versus the 2x. We're about to cloud it up, Abby. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. No, he's scouting. I mean, he saw the SCV. Like, ByuN, he saw the SCV, so he's checking, and he will confirm. ByuN has the advantage of knowing what's coming his way. And he will even he'll even just be an annoyance here. GG. GG, well played. The proxy is shut down and ByuN takes game number 1. GG. Ay, papi. Ay. GG, well played. Again, remember, the SCVs, they pass by each other, so ByuN, he had the wherewithal to check where that SCV was going, to check for the proxy. Percival could have done the same, but he did not, so he had no reaction to seeing the SCV in the center of said map. Did not check for proxy location. With that, GG, ByuN does take the first win. Does take the first win. Let's go. What a game. That's TVT. That's TVT. I should say that's Korean TVT. True. See, this is why Clem was bullied out of TVT, and why he plays Protoss. He's like, yo, I'm done with this. I'm done with this nonsense, papi. Hi. Too many times. Oh no. So here we go. We're getting into our next game. Gonna be loading into Endo 2. Gonna be loading into Tokmak. Oh boy. We go. Now, do we do the same thing? Do we? No. Hopefully we're not smurging. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokmak, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. In the series 1-0 after that very fast. Predictions didn't even close by the time that game ended, by the way. It is ByuN. It didn't even close. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran. It is Percival. Let's go. Now, what I was about to say, especially getting into the finals, is, I mean, I couldn't really say anything as we were getting into the proxies. This time, the SCVs are being kept at home for the time being. But a shout out to Dubu. Shout out to Dubu as well. Thank you so much for jumping in, for helping to admin and run the event as well. The Turtle Tussle is very, very late in Europe, and typically Kuro is mainly adminning. It's either Kuro or myself adminning these tournaments. But it is very late in Europe, and it is, especially with the podcast starting up later on tonight, it is a little bit unreasonable to ask for a European admin to stay up and to stay awake and to run said event. So thank you so much to DB. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Much love, man. Much love. Este DB. Gracias. Let's go. Much love, much love. As they're getting into those finals. And again, this time there's no proxy. This time we have the racks back at home for ByuN. This time racks back at home for Percival as well. We have a mirrored start. We can see the Percival, he is checking for proxies. I don't blame him. He does check the 3rd location, and he does check the 4th location as well, just in case. Ooh, as the SV is thrown down, and ByuN does confirm the natural. So ByuN does confirm. SCV scouts are very rare. They're very rare in TVT, so ByuN to move out like this, he was a little bit terrified of said proxy as well. He pulls away. Likewise, Percival, he does check his triangular 3rd location before moving out. So we are building up. are settling in. From here, we'll see where our players do deviate. We do have a slightly faster factory here from the side of Percival. Let's go Reaper Reactor into said factory. ByuN back at home, going for his own factory follow-up. Settling in. ByuN does go up the ramp. Does have double the Reaper count, and with that, if he can kill the first Reaper, that's going to be game. God. Does dive in. Thankfully, Percival does pull away. He has to pull the boys. So far, we'll lose one SCV. Yeah, one SCV goes down. We're buying time for the Hellions. Hellions do arrive, and Percival holds. He does hold on, does defend, cleans up both Reapers. Whew, again, that could have been so much worse. But Percival, he will gain map control. Behind this, making another wave of Hellions. He's rallying, he's reinforcing, he's pushing. ByuN, you can see him evacuate the natural. He's oversaturated in the main, intentionally so. He knows he cannot defend his mineral line. So he does abandon it. Yeah, Percival checks. He checks, there's nothing there. And ByuN, he's going for a very fast third CC. Hyper greed out of ByuN. So faster base here. ByuN is being quite greedy, rushing into his economy. And meanwhile, we do see Percival going into high flight rotors. Are we going into mech? Mech is an option. Mech is available here. Reaper gets called out. As Percival is coming in quite hard here into those Banshees. And we'll see if he goes for a second factory. Or if he goes for an add-on swap after the Cyclone. Because it could still be add-on swap here into Sim. I mean, I say add-on swap should be into tank production, to be fair. Getting another Cyclone. Okay. Building up his battle mech. As ByuN is playing more standard, building up his tanks, building up his Ravens. Third CC now has begun for Percival, but of course far later than that of ByuN, so ByuN, he will have the economic lead as we get into the mid game. So ByuN, he will get away with this. He will get away with this. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the Banshees to get some damage done. Scan into the main, reveals the additional Raxes. Does see how late it is, that is a tell. Scan also does get eyes on the later CC, but there's the add-on sub Stim, so it is going to be ByuN. So ByuN tank out of Percival. We're waiting to see if it was going to be an add-on swap or extra factories. Was the swap. ByuN spotted it. And these Banshees have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do here. Heads into the natural. Marines are in position. Gets a handful of Marines, not bad. Go shout to the speed Banshees. It's going to be 5 Marines going down. A very nice harass. No economic damage, but damage nonetheless. Percival, he's rallying. And it's crucial that Percival is here. What is his goal? His goal isn't to break ByuN, it is to contain and make sure that ByuN doesn't land his third. Right? Remember, he scanned earlier, he sold the Raxes. He sold the production. And that's why he's set up here at that third location. It's all about delaying the base. Main base is, the third base is floating over. ByuN tries to break out. Nice Elcons. Tussle breaks through the Hellions. And even gets a Elcon on the Cyclone. That brutal pickup. Cyclone goes down. Hellions go down as well. Ay, ay, ay. Percival, he was just a little bit too far back to support his army. Tank is within range of the CC. Does force a lift. And he gets out of here. Yeah, Percival has to get the hell out of here. Does want to lose those tanks. Here, forced to engage. Nice auto turrets. They turn away. Vikings getting low. Tanks are exposed. There's only 2 tanks left. They're on their own. Up. He wants them. ByuN wants the tanks. He's going to siege up lands the Vikings in time. And he's going to be cleaned up here. Yeah, the Banshee should shut this down. Does get both tanks, but he trades. He trades tanks for tanks. Percival holds, and that was an overextension from ByuN. Does overextend. But he gets his third. He gets his third base, so does Percival. Scan into the main. Ooh, going into Reactor to Liberator. Let's go. I mean, again, Percival, he does have that Viking lead. He just reset the Viking count. So he knows. He knows he has the freedom here to go into Libs. Liberator Save reigns supreme in this matchup. Air control is so important in TBT because of the Liberator. And ByuN losing all those Vikings, it's going to be a brutal mid-game here. It's just going for drop play. He's going for drop play. He already has 1/1 upgrades. In a head-on fight, I do favor Percival, as he does have the Viking lead, the Liberator lead as well. Oh, spots the drop. They spot each other. Banshee into the main. Percival, no reaction. He did not notice. Yeah, he didn't notice the drop. Army gets in. Gets into the main. Has the upgrade lead as well. Can he snipe some of those Vikings? We're now just going for the SCVs. And brutal damage here. 11, 12 SCV kills. Ay. Very nice kiting out of ByuN. Takes down 19. Gets every SCV in the main. Takes down every SCV except for the one here. And the gas guys are 19 SCV kills. That is critical damage. Ay. And ByuN moves out. ByuN moves out. He has that economic lead. The Liberators, they were dealt with. So ByuN is sharking around. Now he still has to respect the tanks. Speaking of, Jesus. Does take his tank shot to the face. ByuN makes the stand. He cleans up all the Marines. Barely. Barely does win the fight when it comes to the Bio, but there are 3 tanks here on the high ground. ByuN, he shouldn't be able to push in. And Percival still has that Viking lead. True. Still has all the Vikings. ByuN is still rallying. Now, this is very ByuN-esque when it comes to TBT. I don't know if you noticed, but ByuN, he has 31 Marines. Like, he has a massive Marine lead here. It's very Bio-heavy, very Marine-heavy, I should say. And the goal here is drop play. It's just non-stop drop play, and he already dropped into the main base once. No turrets. No turrets, and the Vikings are not in position. There's a massive opening into the main, and ByuN goes for it. He goes into the main base once again. This time with tanks. Does siege. Marines, they stim in. They get on top of the first tank. He gets one. He gets both. Yeah, both tanks go down. And from here he can pull away. He can pull the safety to the safety of the tanks. Gets another mineral line. And he's pulling Percival apart. 18 SCV kills. ByuN, he will lose this army, but it is worth it. He still out trades. Still has the better upgrades. And he can just keep going. And even if Percival gets turrets now, it's too late. Like, the damage has been done. It's been how many? It's been 41 SCV kills. Crazy damage. And we're still going. He's still abusing this position. Thankfully, this time the Vikings, they move in. Thankfully. Oh, no. Oh.
Command center upgrade.
ByuN does pull away. Pulls away. Main army rotates on the right-hand side. ByuN still has momentum. Moving into the main. Does move in, does 9 mining. Does contain Percival. While ByuN gets his own for it. So his own 5th base. Yeah, 5th base on the way for ByuN. Double drop coming in from behind, but there are reinforcements back at the 3rd. Percival defends. Okay. So far, so good. In a head-on fight, I believe Percival does have the tank lead. Yeah, he's up in tank. So in a head-on fight, I favor Percival. But ByuN has a very mobile army with Master Marine. Percival runs into the tanks. Oh, does catch it on siege, not bad. And Percival stims in, tanks are late to siege, and ByuN, he does hold on to position, does siege in time. Ay, ay, ay. Does barely maintain. But again, there's not really much support for these tanks. Percival, he can break this. Can break this position. But ByuN is now reinforcing, so never mind. And he sims in. He does go for the sim, goes for the dive. Nice target crying out of Percival, but the tanks do siege, and he breaks through. Yeah, he breaks through, comes in for the flank as well. ByuN, he crashes into the main army. He breaks the fifth. GG gets called, and ByuN, he takes a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. Whew, GG, well played. There were some opportunities here for Percival for sure when it came to catching out some of the key units, when it came to denying the third base, delaying the third base, but unfortunately he did have a massive opening into his main, and twice we saw ByuN taking advantage of that opening, Dune dropping into the main base. This is ByuN's style in TVT. He often does forego Viking production, he forgoes tanks in favor of Mass Marine. It's really risky because if you can imagine a world where the drops were denied. If Percival had either his Vikings in position or turrets in position, if he denies those drops, if ByuN doesn't do that crippling economic damage, then Percival takes the lead. Then Percival does take the lead instead. So it's a really risky style that ByuN goes for, and it's very hit and miss. Like, we've seen it succeed, we've seen it fail as well. Like, as we mentioned, just to emphasize, if these drops fail to get damaged, then ByuN's army does become worse, as he's stuck with Mass Marine against a heavy tank Viking force instead. But last he was able to pop off. And here we go, we're getting into game number 3. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify, leading the series 2-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player, the South Korean Terran, down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and make a series out of this. It is Percival. Here we go. As we are settling in, and welcome one and all to 10,000 feet. At 10,000 feet is one of the TLMC 21 maps, and it is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. Very short rush distance by ground. Short rush distance by ground. We have massive tumors in the center that do expire over time as well. There are tumors all over the place that do open up the map even further. To help defend, to help have a secure early game, you do have a triangular third. There's a triangular third base here, which is relatively defendable. There's of course high ground next to it, but it's a little bit further back. And of course, you do have to mine through these patches to gain access to that triangular third. The fourth base, though, is much more spread out, is much more exposed. So getting into the mid game should be more difficult here, and no surprises, for the first time this series, double gas versus double gas. So delayed expansions, faster factories for both ByuN and Percival. So here we go. Which makes sense. It does make sense here on a smaller map. Go. So why did he try to attack with SCVs? That was to buffer to survive, just because it was out of position, if you recall. Like, Percival was very out of position. So the goal there was to live. As I believe that's in reference to the first drop into the main. So now we are building up. And we're settling in. And from here, we'll keep an eye on the third base timings. We'll keep an eye on said starport, on said 111 follow-up. We'll see if we go into Banshee play again, and we'll see if we commit into Banshees or if we have a different approach. There are 2 base all-ins you can go for. You can go double starport into 2-port massive lacking production, 2-port 2 base all-in. That is still quite trendy in the current meta. Did make a resurgence at the start of the year. Ooh, as Reaper goes down. Yeah, better start for ByuN. Does catch the Reaper. ByuN getting to a safety Cyclone. Percival back at home. We'll see if he goes for the add-on swap. Let's see if he make additional Hellions. And he, maybe able to delay. Gets Reaper, yeah, gets an SCV kill, but does not delay. And catching out the Reaper Hellion. You get some okay trades here from Percival. Yeah, okay. Gets one worker, doesn't delay the command center. And we're both following up with Ravens. Getting into Interference Matrix. Working towards that disable. Percival is getting there. Outside of that, we have relatively similar starts. Of course, Percival, he went into additional Hellion production, so we delayed the Cyclone. Outside of that, we're kind of calming down. Some of the other features of this map include the exposed forward base. You can siege up behind or on the other side of the cliff face, and you can actually hit the mineral line. So it is very difficult to maintain the center expansion. The linear third base, or the would-be fourth base here, is a little bit more spread out as well. But that's by design, right? Like, this is meant to be a rush map. It's meant to favor aggression. Both players are expanding. Their TCs are on the way. Ooh, Percival's going to be the first to move out. And we'll see what he can get done. With his Ravens, he technically can break the natural. Comes down to the disables, comes down to the auto turrets. We'll see what he can get done. How many tanks? So far, we have 1 tank in position. Second tank just popped out. And barely within range of the CC. Barely within range, but the command center does complete. ByuN is holding on. Meanwhile, big shout to Sand, and the chat's papi, fala galera, papi, fala galera. Obrigado. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great cast. Hope you had a great time. For those who are curious, Ian, of course, he's a Brazilian caster. So much love, papi, papi, much love. Obrigado. Estes, yeah. Ooh, does go within range. Yeah, not bad. 1 tank goes down. All shots going to be thrown down. And ByuN, can he break out? Can he get on top of those tanks? He barely cannot. Yeah, he cannot in the end. First of all, he should barely hold on. Breaks through the Marines. Trying to get on top of those tanks. Brings down 1. But ByuN is holding. Yeah, ByuN, he barely does hold on. Was very close, very clutch. In the end, Percival did lose one of his Ravens. The tanks are not close enough. And ByuN can expand. Percival has to get out of here. Like, he cannot stick around. Does on siege, does pull away. Does pull back home. With that, both players can take their expansions. Now ByuN does have momentum himself. Checking the vision here, checking the army supplies. The tanks are neck and neck, but again, ByuN has 1 extra Raven, and that can mean everything. Although he's setting up, Jesus, with 5 tanks? Oh my god. He's setting up here at his 3rd. ByuN, he rotates over towards the right-hand side. He gets spotted. Disables one. Disables one tank. Takes down the sensor tower. Doesn't quite get much else. Yeah, pulls away at the same time, drops into the main. This time Percival does notice. Yeah, does notice, does keep up. Percival responds. ByuN is forced back. So far, so good. Yeah, unlike on Tokamak, there's no massive opening into the main. Here, the third base does protect the main, so it is more difficult to pull off these drops. Yeah, speaking of, drop is denied. But ByuN is going for the add-ons, and Percival's out of position. Yeah, it's late to respond, late to react. Can we? We should be able to deny 1-1. Yeah, 1-1 will complete, but 2-2 will be delayed. The E-base go down. Moving forward. Does get one tank. One tank goes down. ByuN takes down the gas geyser. And ByuN can maintain this position, especially with the Ravens. Can maintain. Getting his fourth base on location. ByuN taking an economic lead. And we can see Percival trying to get a flank ready. Okay, let's go. Here comes the Mass on Siege. He's moving in. Oh, does get spotted. Okay, spotted. Here we go. Just claps in. Tanks do siege. But ByuN, he does disable. Yeah, he does disable those tanks. ByuN, he should clean up all the Marines, but barely doesn't get on top of the siege line. Percival does take the fight. Let's go. Very nice. He doesn't lose a single tank. Oh my god. Doesn't lose any tanks. But at the same time, ByuN does push towards the third. Gets into the middle line. 7 SCV kills. Nice mining. But Percival's counterattack should be brutal. It should be brutal here. And cleans up the tanks, and I'm a little bit afraid to look here. What is the tank count looking like? We have 6 tanks. 6 tanks to 1. Massive tank lead for Percival. Likewise, the Vikings are on the way. And ByuN doesn't even have a 2-2 lead either. Like, 2-2 is pretty evenly tied between the players, despite killing those eBays. So ByuN, he just stuck around a little bit too long. He got cleaned up. Percival does have the advantage. What does ByuN have? The Marine lead, of course. As always, like ByuN, he has more Marines, more bio. It's a cheaper army. But breaking these siege positions is difficult. And again, unlike Tokamak, there's no easy way into the bases. He's going for it though. He's going for the drop, where there's already 1 turret in position. Sorry, 2 turrets in position. The medevac's already low. So Percival, he should hold. Should. Jump into the natural. Okay, does boost in. 1 medevac will go down. Ooh, that was almost a full medevac as well. Marines, they barely slip into the main. Once again, Percival's going to try to hold on. He will lose the SCVs. 10 SCVs do go down. Percival does win the fight. At a cost. Likewise, Percival, he wants to go for the third base of ByuN. ByuN has not been defending at all this game. So ByuN does not have the defensive setup. Mass Marine gets in. Dropping into the main against 0 turrets. ByuN, he's exposed. Yeah, completely exposed. Tank goes down as well. Nice concave, better position. We have Marine, sorry, medevac support as well. Yeah, much more efficient trade here for Percival. Does get cleaned up, but he trades well. He trades well, he's alleviating that pressure. ByuN still has the army supply lead. He also has the economic lead, I mean, thanks to the drop into the main. Tries to stem in. Still trying to stabilize. And so far, Percival, he is maintaining these crucial positions here. He's sieged up on the fringe bases. It's not easy to push into. Yes, ByuN does have the slight supply lead, or really, I should say, economic lead. Getting to 3-3. Both players going to mass starports. We're building up. We're looking to cut the map in half. ByuN's looking for a way in. And he shouldn't find one. It commits. Marines are going to be punished. Finds all these Vikings though. Ay, ay, ay. 4 Vikings go down. Nice catch here from ByuN. And Percival, he gets caught out of position. Brutal pickoffs. Fusion cores on the way. That should be for Liberators, for Liberator range. Technically, we could rush into Mass BC. But those are reactors. Yeah, those are reactors, not tech labs, so we're expecting Mass Lib. Speaking of Liberators on the way for Percival. As we mentioned before, TVT does become all about that Sky Terran. Nice catch. ByuN out of position. Planetary goes down. At the same time, ByuN does move in. Breaks through the siege line. And ByuN who loses one base, but at the same time, he wants the other. And cleans up the tanks, cleans up the Vikings as well. ByuN repositioning, getting on top of the planetary. Siege. Yeah, Percival, he's spread out. Lose the base. Yeah, at the same time, going for the junior over to the main. ByuN is in position. He defends. Defends. Meanwhile, at the same time, leads out a couple of tanks. We're getting messy. We're getting messy, man. ByuN still enjoying the better economy, thanks to the center, thanks to the base in the center. Still up almost 20 workers. And ByuN is remaxing with Vikings. So finally, ByuN is getting to the Viking army. Liberator range is on the way into Liberators. Going into something more traditional. Getting into Viking Lib. Percival is holding onto that bottom left base. Moving out for a counterattack. We spoke earlier about the center expansion, and Percival, he wants to try to apply pressure. He's trying. Okay, it's all about positional play. Percival is getting caught out. Losing Ravens. Let's barely hold his own. And Percival, he's setting up for the surround. CC is going to go down, but this army for ByuN here is trapped. And Percival, he will clean this up. It's going to be 4 tanks. Okay, Sims in. 4 tanks going to be cleaned up. A nice catch here by Percival. Catching out the Vikings as well. Better fight. Didn't lose anything. I don't think meaningful, I should say. Oh, ByuN has 11 Vikings. Okay, he's switching out of Mass Marine. Catching out both those Vikings. Medevacs, I should say. Medevacs go down. Tanks getting caught out as well. Percival coming in from behind. Again, Percival, he has Mass Raven, but he can't defend themselves. He's hunting for those Ravens. At the same time, Liberation towards the bottom left, getting 7 SCVs. And Percival getting pulled apart. And Percival forced to go into Thor production. Oh, I mean, this is a way to recover if you're down in Vikings, right? If you have less Vikings, you need some other anti-air So Thors are on the way. Not ideal, but better than nothing. Let's catch some Liberators. And ByuN is making 5 Vikings at a time. Ideally, should be replenishing those Liberators as well. Should be. ByuN setting up at the center, throwing down a wall of turrets, wall of center towers. ByuN looking to contain Percival. So Percival's moving in. Gets a tank. Nice pick up. Goes down, you can see ByuN is trying to zone away those Ravens. So the way that this dynamic works, I should emphasize here, is that ideally ByuN wants to zone away those Ravens. Ideally the Ravens want to get in and disable everything. And disable the siege line. Speaking of... Ravens, they threaten the dive. Nice disables, gets 2. 2 disables for the Vikings. Yeah, Vikings out of position. Percival takes the fight, breaks through the tanks. And much better engagement from Percival. Getting another tank. Oh. Yes, Percival does pull away. Does reposition. More Liberators on the way for ByuN. Oh, a little bit too close. Position his army. As the tanks that were left behind. As P goes out of ByuN. And we spoke earlier, it's so difficult to maintain this center base, especially if you don't have map control. Tank flow is going up, Liberator have arrived as well. And I don't see how Percival can mine from here. It's not gonna happen. ByuN just bullying this base. And he has his own, of course. His own. Getting to more starports. Oh, Terenzis him. Vikings get 1 Raven. Ooh, a big overextension though. A nice catch out of Percival. Takes down all the Vikings. Vikings go down. ByuN forces stim. Jesus, that was how many? 18 Vikings are now for ByuN. Viking count was reset. You all believe that was a kill on the planetary. What's a kill? Clutch on siege. Was way in time. Once again, you see him trying to snipe those Ravens. ByuN is completely foregone Viking production, by the way. He's making purely tanks. Where are the Vikings? There we go, now starting up. A little bit delayed there from ByuN. Delayed Viking production. Percival, he's just been out trading. He's pushing in. Getting on top of the tanks. The mass Ravens have been paying off very well. He's up the tank army. Now, the scary thing here, even though Percival has been taking some better trades and better fights here, especially in recent times, ByuN, he has more bases. He has a greater economy. He has a bank. So ByuN can afford these trades. Percival cannot. As ByuN has all his bases, ByuN is up to expansions, basically. He has the base in the center left, and he has the center base as well. Percival doesn't have his center base, and never expand on the right-hand side either. Never maintain that expansion. So ByuN is up 2 bases. So despite the better fights from Percival, I can't really afford it. Gee, speaking of being able to afford it, ByuN is making 10 Vikings at a time. Jesus. It's a lot of Vikings. Once again, ByuN scans. Like, ByuN's win condition is deny the bases, right? Deny the mining. Make sure that Percival can't afford these trades. As Vikings have arrived, they punish. Percival is trying to mine from center right. SCVs are going down. Everywhere, actually. ByuN has no vision. That's, of course, a recent change, but the Liberator does have less vision than, of course, its actual range. Marines, they step in. Does force reaction. So he will clean this up. That's still going to be 16 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. They can shoot further than they can see. That's still 21 SCV kills. And ByuN is maxed. ByuN is maxed out. And again, Percival, he's been having some really impressive fights, but it may not matter. Not anymore. Ay, ay, ay. He finally gets the center base up and running. He finally expands. And ByuN, he wants it. He wants the base. Little zips. Liberators are cleaned up. ByuN is still pushing. He has how many Vikings? He has 17. 17 Vikings. Making 6 Liberators at a time. I mentioned it earlier, but again, TVT is all about air control in the late game. The freedom is almost here. Brings that one. Brings down one Liberator. There's only 2 Thors. More Liberators have arrived. He commits. Yeah, he's going for the dive. He goes to the dive. One final break at it from Percival. But again, he's broke. Oh, God. Yeah, Liberators are repositioned. Thor goes down. Gets on the Raven. Another 2 Ravens even. 3 Ravens. And Percival, he's out of money. He's just run out of steam. He just has no economy here. No mining bottom left, no mining in the center. No SCVs. He's broke. He's been burning money trying to save that planetary. And again, first he had some really impressive moves. Like he straight up was having better fights. He had better fights, better engages. He was being very efficient with those Ravens, I should say. Very efficient. Even out positioning at times, but GG gets called. He runs out of money, runs out of semen. ByuN, he will take the series 3-0, becoming this week's Tenacious Turtle Tussle number 34 champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to ByuN. Does claim the series. We did have a bit of a back and forth here, the one-sided scoreline, but shout out to Percival. He was having some better fights, was having some better trades. He was having a stronger time here, maintaining his bases, defending against the drop play, at least getting into a longer game state. But as we mentioned, ByuN, he had map control, and ByuN was up to expansions. ByuN, his mining was untouched. He was freely mining from so many bases, and Percival couldn't do anything to deter that economy, to deny any of that economy. ByuN, he was up to what, 87 workers. He had over double the economy of Percival towards the end of the game, and Percival just couldn't keep up. He could not keep up with those trades. Even though he was at times trading more efficiently, he couldn't afford to replenish his army. He was broke. He was broke. GG, well played. Congratulations to ByuN. Ay, ay, ay. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, ByuN does claim the series, and with that, ByuN will be this week's champion. Shout out to Percival coming in second place. Again, I don't feel like the scoreline really does it justice. First of all, he did hold his own, especially here in the final game. Maybe a little bit less so in some of the others, but here in game 3, it did hold his own. GG. GG, well played. And with that, again, congratulations to ByuN, shout out to Percival, shout out to Young Yakov and Shameless as well. Again, they did make a series out of it in the semifinals. They held their own, so big shout out to Young Yakov, big shout out to Shameless, especially because they are European players as well. It is very late over in Europe, and shout out to all the competitors, even those from the Americas, of course, as that is what this tournament is designed for some more North American and Latin American competition and players. Players like Mute, players like Greenert, and of course many others. So GG, well played. Otherwise, with that, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. Once again, a big shout out to ByuN in the chat as well for adminning, for helping to admin, helping to run the tournaments as well. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it. I do appreciate it as well. Thank you. As again, this is a bi-weekly tournament. Every fortnight, every 2 weeks, we do host a Turtle Tussle. So in another 2 weeks, we're gonna have another one of these tournaments. Meanwhile, you can see our weekly schedule here. We are gonna be live once again at 7 p.m. KST. That's gonna be at 9 p.m. AEST. That'll be in 7.5 hours. 7.5 hours. We're gonna be live with the podcast. So that is our weekly talk show. Weekly talk show where we catch up with all things StarCraft. What do we have this week? I know there was some interviews. I believe there was an interview with Rotterdam. There was an interview with Hero as well, so we're going to be going over those interviews. Likewise, we have some tournament results, and what else do we have? We're double checking here. Alright, we have the official announcement of Blizzard, the Blizzard's Chinese server coming back. We already spoke about the rumors of that and how that was on the horizon, how we had some like unconfirmed announcements of that, but now we have full confirmation, of course. What else do we have? We have more details regarding miniatures, and we have Whitera. He of course did announce his autobiography as well, so big shout out to Whitera. We already had some interviews with Whitera earlier last year regarding what was happening in Ukraine, and it was really insightful. It was really cool to hear his origin, hearing about PC cafes and PC bangs back in the day, and how he would often go there and even skip school and skip classes to compete. That was back in Brood War, of course. So yeah, it was really cool to hear Whitera's story, and I think that was just an interview. His autobiography is going to have even more of that, of course. So yeah, do recommend checking it out. Do recommend supporting it, of course. And of course, we have all the other tournament results as well. So plenty to discuss, plenty to go over during the podcast. Do check it out. Again, in 7 hours time is a weekly talk show, weekly wrap-up show more than anything. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Again, when it comes to our next tournament broadcast, it is going to be tomorrow evening. You can see there at 1 a.m. KST. That'll be Saturday morning. That'll be at 3 a.m. AEST. That is going to be the Platinum StarCraft League tournament for the month of October. So the October monthly is going to be this Friday, and we have the RSL, the Rival StarCraft League qualifiers over the weekend. Now, I don't know if I'm going to commit to those qualifiers. It's going to be quite an intense weekend, and depending on how tired I am after the Platinum StarCraft League cast, we might skip out on that first RSL cast. We'll see how things line up. It's going to be an intense schedule. It's going to be intense, but otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go get some breakfast, and then I'm going to pass out because I'm casting on 3 hours of sleep. I do apologize for being a little bit low energy at times. Again, I am very sleep deprived. I'm gonna go get some food. I'm gonna go pass out, and ideally I need to wake up a little bit earlier to be able to watch the interviews, to be able to discuss them before the podcast. So thank you so much. Once again, if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. We have our Patreon, of course. That does help fund our tournaments. It doesn't help fund this tournament, the Turtle Tussle, but it does help fund the Tuna Cup alongside all of our other monthly tournaments as well. So you can support us via Patreon. All that money goes towards that funding and supporting those tournaments. Likewise, you can also follow us over on the socials, YouTube, YouTube. YouTube is the place to be. We upload to YouTube on a daily basis, every single day on YouTube, so make sure you support us there. You can tune into those VODs as we have plenty of content. If you see something that you like here and if you cannot watch it live, then YouTube is the place to be. Otherwise, we'll see you guys later on tonight for some podcasts or tomorrow for some Platinum StarCraft League. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego. Bienvenidos. Ciao.